said,
Oh,
Mr.
hello.
Ricketts, aye.
I've been
Mr.
live this whole
Wicker,
time. I don't
aye.
know why it looked like I wasn't. So, fuck my life. Why am I doing this? Why do I do this again? Why? Why do I do this? What
Mr.
did it get me?
Gallego,
What did it get me? It got me
no.
nothing. It got me absolutely motherfucking nothing. Nothing. Nothing but heartache. Thanks. Yeah, well, I thought I was live. I don't really want to talk about it because I'll probably get really pissed off about it now, frankly.
Ms. Klobuchar, no.
Good morning. I've been live since 6
Mr.
a.m.
Booker, no.
I don't know what to say.
Mr. Sullivan, aye.
I mean, I thought I was on the whole time.
Mr. Johnson,
I'm very
aye.
upset right now. I don't want to talk about it. Good morning, everybody.
Ms. Warren, no. Mr. McConnell, aye. Mr. Bozeman, aye. Mr. Rono, no.
Good. I'm glad. I've been live ever since then, but whatever. It wasn't important.
Mr. Lee, aye.
Morning, everyone. Oh, no worries, Neil. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, I've been live since 6
Mrs.
a.m.
Gillibrand,
It
no.
didn't tell me that my stream was down. So, I don't know what to tell you. Not sure. Good to see you too, Carrie.
Mr. Reed, no.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm going to work more on that this week, so hopefully we'll have more like structure and stuff.
Mr. Wyden, no. Mr. Hickenlooper, no. Mr. Scott of Florida, aye. Mr. Curtis, aye. Mr. Scott of South Carolina, aye.
No, I thought I was there the whole time.
Mrs. Murray, no.
Seriously, Karen. You should fuck right off.
Mr. Daines, aye. Mr. Welch, no. Mr. Banks, aye.
God, Jim Banks is such a penis head.
Ms. Baldwin, no.
They're all rolling into work now. It's almost 10 o'clock, right? The hell are
Mr.
you rolling
Fetterman,
into work
no.
at 10 o'clock? I was notified of my first block on Blue Sky? Really? You got blocked? They let you know you're blocked? Oh, that's weird. It was really fun. I highly recommend it, actually. It was very good. A lot of knowledge packed into the 3 hours. Yeah. I was just looking at other classes I might take. There's some classes at Upright Citizens Brigade that I might take. Yeah, right? I know. I don't think I've been notified I've been blocked. I'm sure I've been blocked. There were more than 20 hours, whatever the day they met. Yes. What if you're not funny? It might be terrifying. But the thing is they make you feel like, and I wouldn't say, I feel like everybody can be funny. You know what I mean? I really do. I feel like everybody can be funny. But I noticed people there, like the woman next to me, she's like, I'm a bank teller and I'm about to retire. And I'm just like, people told me sometimes I'm funny, and she was not an actor. She didn't have any experience or doing anything like that or theater. And she was just like having
Mr.
fun.
Murphy,
And I really
no.
we hugged after, like, it was so cool. So I just feel like it's a lot of people who are at very different points. And this is like in Hollywood, right? Like, so you'd think that you're getting mostly like actors and other people trying to improve skills. But this was everyone. This was just two girls that wanted to do something together on a Saturday. So they took an improv class together, and they were taking pictures after
Mrs.
because they're
Britt,
like from
aye.
out of town. So there's actually a lot of, I think it's really actually an excellent class for anyone to take.
Mr. Warner, no. Mr.
It's
Sanders,
definitely, everyone's really supportive of
no.
each other, and you know what I mean? So
Mr. Schiff,
I actually would highly
no.
recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. It can be uncomfortable at times, but if you're just like willing to tap into your silly, then you would actually really have a good time, I think. I think people should do it. It was definitely worth worth it. It costs it's like Toastmasters, but almost better, because I don't like Toastmasters. I find that shit really boring. I'm like, oh, okay, a topic. Oh, okay. Like, ugh.
Ms. Collins, aye.
Yeah. But they were just like letting loose and having fun. And that's really great, especially in these days. Yeah, it can be totally scary. Well, see, the thing about it is I love to perform and stuff like that. So and I've spoken publicly like a lot of my career. So I don't have a lot of like stage fright, per se, in that regard. So I might perceive some of those exercises to be easier than others. Um, but at the same time, so not as uncomfortable as it might be for someone who isn't like a ham bone like me or something. Um,
Mr. Blumenthal,
but yeah, I think that everybody would benefit
no.
from that. And the teacher was
Slotko,
really good. He's a stand-up. I mean, he's a
no.
comedian, part of the sketch comedy troupe at the Groundlings. And so, yeah, Toastmasters wants to happen their feelings. Yeah, I just feel like Toastmasters is great. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it's great because I think is it free? Is it free? I think. Oddly, it shows up as a chat
Mr.
request.
Warnock,
Listification.
no.
Oh,
Mr.
have
Van
you been put
Hollen,
on a list?
no.
Yeah. Well, I got put on a bunch of lists by the Stocky group. The idiots, which is so dumb, but whatever. And talk about wasting time on stupid shit. That would be not free. Oh, okay. All right. Well, then in that case, meh. But it does give you kind of a routine of exposure to public speaking and other stuff. I just always found that stuff a little bit like business networking events, which I absolutely detested. So maybe that. Oh, just that one account had blocked. That's so weird. Who would block you? I don't understand
Mr.
that.
Tillis, aye.
Mr. Tillis, I. Oh, so now you're voting for whatever?
Mrs. Fisher, aye.
Anyway, yeah. I don't know. That was definitely, I would recommend. Oh, that's probably why. Yeah. Hey, man, you know what? My mom said takes all kinds. And not everybody likes you. That's what I learned in first grade. Not everybody likes you.
Mrs.
And
Hyde
sometimes
Smith,
you just have
aye.
to be okay with that, Max. Well, dear, that means you're making an impact. Thank you for making me laugh, Max. I needed that laugh. I know you don't give a.
Mr. Kelly, no.
Maybe you should smile more, Max. Only she smiled more. Ah. I hope the system holds up today because our cable company they will upgrade your modem if you ask them, and it's free. You know, there's no like little charge or anything for it other than what it normally costs. So we got a new modem this weekend, so I'm hoping that maybe that was part of the problem, was that the modem was just so out of date. Because I don't think one updates their modem very often. Do you? How often do you update your modem? And have you checked lately? Look at everybody's in green today. Isn't that cool? I think that's kind of cool. I'm looking down. Everyone's in green. All right. Oh, I have stuff for us to read too, but I want to kind of see what the momentum is here. Oh God, I hate that woman in the gray suit with the stupid white tennis shoes. I don't know what her name is, but I can't stand her. Some friends who have done improv classes have likened it to group therapy. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily classify. I was in my own head most of the time. You know what I mean? And actually, this class that I went to, from the minute you sit down until the minute you leave, you're doing improv. There's no like, hey, why'd you come to the group? What do you want out of the group? There's none of that. There's none of that. Nobody cares who you are. Nobody cares why you're there. Yeah. So it's like I'm blah. So yeah, it's actually not. It was not group therapy in my experience. It was very much get in there. Hey, how you doing? This is our first exercise. Blah 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 blah. And really, you know what I mean? Like it was business. And that's what I appreciated that about it because I probably need group therapy, but I don't want group therapy. Yeah. It's a concentration of people I can't stand but feel the need to pay attention to. Wait, who did I miss? Oh, yeah.
Mrs. Shaheen, no.
But yeah, I could see where maybe in some improv classes, it's more about, hey, let's make everybody comfortable and da 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 da. I don't know what it is about this place. It wasn't mean at all. Everybody was beautiful and welcoming, but it was very much like, okay, here we go. Let's everybody stand up and let's do a physical warm up first, kind of thing. So I thought it was great in that way. It didn't really matter why you were there. You could be there for any reason. So anyway, good news is not every improv class needs to be like,
Mr. Moran,
needs to be a trust
aye.
fall. Doesn't need to be a trust fall. Well, the senators on the Republican side look a little too happy, so maybe they're just getting their way.
Mr. Hoven, aye.
Good morning, Teresa. How are you? Is that a croissant? Or is it a group of bananas? Is it a hot dog? Lots of mustard? Can't tell with that emoji. Is it a
Ms.
heart? No.
Murkowski, aye.
I don't know what that is. Looks like a croissant from here. First day back at work. Time for meetings. I'll check back later. All right. Love you, Lee. Take care. Oh my God, that's right. I forgot. No, your week off went way too fast. Oh my God, that's terrible. That she's carrying. Oh, it's a lectern. Okay. Weird. I don't know. This is very strange. Oh, it's a handshake. Okay. All right. I get it. Now I get it. It looks like a croissant.
Mr. Young, aye. Just
I know, but it was fun. Good. I'm glad you had a good time. That's good. That's very good. Yeah, but now just use a croissant. The croissant shake. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I like that. Oh, I croissant with you. Oh, it's nice to croissant you. Anyway, yeah, so I was looking at I think one thing there's kind of there's classes at the Upright Citizens Brigade, which if I can't say that, I don't know if I should actually go to that school if I can't. The croissant of agreement. It is Monday. I'm sorry, Teresa. I know, I'm sorry.
Mr. Coons, no.
What are we doing? What are we laughing about? The demise of democracy? What are we laughing about? Wait, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So I'm looking at a stand-up class at Upright Citizens Brigade, but it's kind of expensive. And so what I think I want to do is take one of their drop-ins but just their improv drop-in, just to get a feel for what if I vibe with the school in general. And if I do, then maybe I'll look into taking the longer stand-up course, which is like 6 weeks or something. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is that I want to kind of get into the stand-up piece and learn more about that structure, about how to structure that, maybe get feedback on my set, and then I want to try an open mic, but I also am a little scared too. So anyway, but Upright Citizens Brigade has drop-in classes, probably the basic same kind of like stuff in the improv, which is great because it's just more practice, because I definitely need it, obviously. So I feel like it would be still a good use of a little bit of money to. It's like $35 for that class, so just a drop in the improv at UCB, and then see if I want to do their stand-up class. I don't know. We'll find out. I don't know what's next. We'll see. But yeah, I think it's definitely worth. I mean, I thought I really enjoyed it. I saw. Oh, you know what else the Groundlings has is a teen program. The stand-up class is it's like $500. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But I mean, it makes sense because you're getting a lot of instruction and a lot of feedback and stuff like that. So it definitely makes sense. And I can get that money. That's easy. I can get the money together. That's not a problem. It's just a matter of whether I want to invest that with that school without knowing a lot about if I vibe with the school or not. You know what I mean? So yeah, generally they're all about $400 to $500 in that. When I look at the different comedy schools around LA, I don't know what it's like in your neighborhoods, but that's the kind of baseline it seems like here for like a 6-week thing. So yeah, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I got out of the house and did it, because I was a little scared to do it, and I was certainly pretty exhausted afterwards. It's kind of funny. Kind of funny how much that shit takes out of you, also being in a room with like 13 people for like 3 hours straight is not easy. I don't know about you, but I don't really like that. And it's one of those overhead lighting, like it's like a breakout room kind of thing. That's a little much, but whatever. Get over yourself. Maybe that's why I don't want to be with groups. I'm like, I can't spend any more time with a group of people. I'd rather be one of those loner comedians that just goes up on stage and then goes home alone. Don't have to talk to anybody except for the stage manager. Anyway, I did want to actually read some stuff while we're between stories. So let me open this up and see what's going on. For example, I had pulled this up this morning. Da, 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 da. Na, 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 na. Trump Management 101, world leaders adapt to his erratic diplomacy with flattery and patience. You know how this bothers me. So I thought I'd see what Laurie Kelman has to say about it. London, England. If world leaders were teaching a course on how to deal with U.S. President Trump early in his second term, their lesson plan might go like this. Pile on the flattery, don't chase the policy rabbits he sends running across the world stage. Wait out the threats to see what, specifically, he wants, and when possible, find a way to deliver it. Now that does sound about what we've seen. With every Oval Office meeting and summit, the leaders of other countries are settling on tactics and strategy in their pursuit of a working relationship with the emboldened American leader who presides over the world's largest economy and commands its most powerful military. Results were there to see at NATO, where leaders heap praise on Trump, shortened meetings, and removed contentious subjects from the agenda. But the contentious subjects don't go away. I don't know why, Max. I noticed that too. Given that Trump dominates geopolitics, foreign leaders are learning from each other's experiences dating to Trump's first term, when he reportedly threatened to withdraw the U.S. from the alliance. Among the learnable Trumpisms, he disdains traditional diplomacy. With him, it's America first, it's superlative, and it's not even close. He goes with his gut, and the world goes along for the ride. They are finding, for example, that the sheer pace of Trump's orders, threats, and social posts can send him pinging from the priority of one moment.
The nays are 47. The decision of the chair stands as the judgment of the Senate.
Mr. President.
Majority Leader is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that it be in order for the following senators to be recognized to offer amendments, motions, or points of order, that the amendments be reported by number with no amendments in order prior to a vote in relation to the amendments or motions. Schumer motion, number 1. Motion to commit on health care.
It just happened to mine.
Motion,
I didn't reset anything.
Klobuchar motion.
Congratulations, Nalgren family.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I make a point of order under Section 313B1B of the Congressional Budget Act against Title VII of Substitute Amendment Number 2360.
Under the Congressional Budget Act and the precedents of the Senate, the chair must rely on determinations made by the Budget Committee in assessing the budgetary effects of the amendment. Section 312 of the Budget Act states, for purposes of this title and Title IV, the levels of new budget authority, outlays, direct spending, new entitlement authority, and revenues for a fiscal year shall be determined on the basis of estimates made by the Committee on the Budget of the House of Representatives or the Senate as applicable. Unless the Budget Committee, speaking to its chairman, asserts that the amendment causes a violation of the Budget Act, the chair will not so hold. Therefore, Mr. Leader, the point of order is not well taken.
President.
Senator from Oregon is recognized.
I appeal the ruling of the chair, and I ask for the yeas and nays.
Is there a sufficient second? There appears to be. There appears to be.
There are now 2 minutes of debate, equally divided.
There are now 2 minutes of debate, equally divided. Senator from Oregon.
I ask the CBO letter of June 29 to the ranking member of the Budget Committee be submitted for the record.
Without objection.
And in this letter, it notes that the baseline was prepared, the alternative baseline, based on a request made by the chairman of the Senate Committee on the Budget. But the letter goes on to say this. The CBO estimates that enacting this title would increase the deficit by nearly $3.5 trillion over the 2025-34 period. Clearly, that amount, done by honest numbers from CBO, exceeds the budget resolution level, and therefore we should not affirm the ruling of the chair. It is said in this ruling, I just heard, that precedent provides a foundation for this. But in fact, the ability of the chair to create a phony baseline has never been used in reconciliation. Not ever. And in fact, the example cited over Head Start, that never appeared in any budget reconciliation. And, in fact, that conversation about Jeffrey Zients that we heard from the majority leader, that too was absolutely wrong. Current law was used for estimating the cost of that bill. This
Time has
breaks
expired.
the 51-year tradition of the Senate.
The senator's time has expired.
Mr. President,
The leader is recognized. I'm sorry.
Senator from
Idaho is
Idaho.
recognized. Sorry.
Mr. President, we're just rehashing the same old arguments, but I want to make something really clear. This Congress, in the budget resolution for this reconciliation, adopted the current policy baseline. CBO scored that current policy baseline. It said that our
Morning,
bill
Peace Love.
generates a $506 billion deficit
exactly.
reduction. The ranking
in
member for the
order.
Budget Committee asked
show,
them to
not
give
the
it a
real
new
thing.
score based on a different baseline, the current law baseline, which says that we have to say that if we don't raise people's taxes, that we're
Muskie
causing
is
a
back
deficit.
online.
They said they
Yeah.
would, they always do. They give the scores that different members of Congress ask them to give, and they gave that score and said, well, if you raise taxes by $4 trillion, then you will have a $4 trillion increase in tax revenue. That's what the whole debate is about, folks. You can complain and use different words and deficits and all that stuff. There is a CBO score on the baseline adopted by this Congress on this resolution that sets the score at $506 or $507 billion of deficit reduction.
What? What? Over what period? What? Huh? What?
He has it up here.
Hell yeah.
Just this top, this whole thing.
Okay. The question is, shall the decision of the chair stand as the judgment of the Senate? The yeas and nays were previously ordered. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Elsa Brooks, Ms. Baldwin,
All right. Anyway. All right. I'm going to go ahead and kind of lower them a little bit so that we can read this documente. I want to read this document to you. Okay. This is an article from the AP this morning. They're finding, for example, that the sheer pace of Trump's orders, threats, and social posts can send him pinging from the priority of one moment to another. He describes himself as flexible in negotiations, such as those in which he threatened big tariffs on
Banks.
Canada, Mexico, and China, only to back down during talks.
Mr. Barrasso,
And while Trump claimed credit for the ceasefire in the Iran-Israel war, he has also yet to negotiate
Bennett.
ending the conflicts in Ukraine and Gaza as promised. No shit.
Mrs. Blackburn,
Trump's threat this week to levy retaliatory tariffs on Spain, for example, is a mystery to everyone. Belgium Prime Minister Bart de Wever,
Blumenthal.
I don't know how to say that, told reporters Thursday during a summit in Brussels. If the tariffs never happen, he said, it won't be the first time that things don't turn out as bad as they seem at first glance, or that he changes his mind. I'm not the kind of leader who jumps every time Mr. Trump says something. Trump Management 101, Discipline versus Daddy Diplomacy. 2 summits this month, an ocean apart. The Group of 7 in Canada and NATO in the Netherlands illustrate the contrasting approaches to the American president on the brink of his 6th month back in office. Meeting in mid-June in Alberta, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney welcomed Trump at a press conference by wishing him a happy birthday and adding a smidgen of flattery. The G7 is nothing without U.S. leadership and your personal leadership of the United States. But when Trump turned partisan, Carney cut off the event, saying, we actually have to start the meeting. Trump appeared to not in agreement, but later, on Monday, June 16th, he abruptly departed the summit a day early as the conflict between Israel and Iran intensified. Oh, you mean the one that he caused? Oh, just kidding. Trump ordered
Ms.
U.S.
Blunt,
pilots to
Rochester.
drop
Mr. Booker.
30,000-pound
Mr.
bombs
Bozeman.
early Sunday on 2 key underground uranium enrichment plants in
Mrs. Britt.
Iran, and by Wednesday announced on social
Mr.
media a
Budd. Ms.
complete and total
Cantwell.
ceasefire. What followed was a 48-hour whirlwind
Capito.
during which Trump veered from elated to indignant to
Mr.
triumphant
Cassidy. Ms. Collins.
as his fragile Israel-Iran ceasefire.
Coons.
Oh, you're so sweet. Clayburgh got one.
Mr.
Clayburgh.
Cornyn.
Clayburgh. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much,
Ms. Cortez
Carrie.
Mastel.
So kind. You are so kind. Let's see. What followed was a 48-hour whirlwind during which Trump veered from elated
Mr.
to
Cotton.
indignant to triumphant as his fragile Israel-Iran
Kramer.
ceasefire agreement came together, teetered toward collapse, and ultimately coalesced. Oh, look at, she's holding champagne. Let's see, who got them? Nacho 24. Sunshine Jenkins, I don't know who that is. Lady Weiser, that's a great name though. And then Clayburgh, that's Sam is Clayburgh. And Sassy Pants, hey Sassy. There's an old friend. Very kind, thank you. I'm gonna give you some special sparkle today. Glitter. We should have like glitter explosion. That's what we need. Okay,
Mr.
I'm gonna
Crapo.
work on
Mr.
that.
Cruz. Mr. Curtis.
Work on that. Such was the president's mood as he winged toward a meeting of the Transatlantic Alliance he had disparaged for years. NATO was ready for Trump. Oh, wait,
Mr.
did I not
Daines.
read that? Excuse me. Trump publicly harangued the Israelis and Iranians with a level of pique and profanity that was notable even for him, chiding the two countries for attacking each other beyond. I know, that's so sweet.
Ms. Duckworth. Mr.
Attacking
Durbin.
each other beyond a deadline. He dropped the F word.
Ms. Ernst.
Not
Mr.
finished, he then
Fetterman,
cast
Mrs.
doubt on
Fisher,
his
Mr.
support for
Gallego,
NATO's mutual defense
Mrs.
guarantee.
Gillibrand.
Such was the president's mood as he winged towards the meeting of NATO, blah, blah, blah. NATO was ready for
Mr.
Trump with a
Graham.
summit set to please him. NATO is essentially American anyway. The Europeans and Canadians cannot function
Mr.
without
Grassley,
American
Mr.
heavy
Haggerty.
lift, air refueling, logistics, and more. Most of all, they rely on the United States for its range of nuclear weapons for deterrence. The June 25th summit was whittled down to a few hours and one Trump-driven subject, raising the amount of
Assassin,
money the
Mr.
member
Hawley,
nations spent on
Mr.
defense to
Heinrich.
lighten the load carried by the United States. Emphatically not on the agenda, Russia's ongoing war with Ukraine. Trump did, however, meet with President Volodymyr Zelensky, who has climbed his own learning curve on Trump management since Trump berated him in the Oval Office
Mr.
in February.
Hickenlooper.
Excuse me.
Ms. Hirono.
The Ukrainian leader has deployed a conciliatory approach and mirrored Trump's transactional style. The goal, widely reported, was to avoid doing anything that might cause Trump to blow up the event or leave. Trump was invited to stay at the Royal Palace in The Hague and dine with the royal family. It was
Mr.
expected that
Hogan,
most
Mr.
members
Houston.
would endorse the plan to raise their spending targets for their one-for-all defense against Russia. The other NATO ambassadors had told Secretary General Mark Rutte to deploy his Trump whispering skills. He sent the president a private pre-summit text predicting Trump would achieve big success there, which Trump posted on his
Cy
own
Smith.
socials for all to see. At the summit, Rutte likened Trump's role quieting the Iran-Israel war to a daddy interdicting in a schoolyard brawl. He likes me, Trump
Mr.
explained.
Johnson.
So
Mr.
easy.
Justice. Mr.
Backlash
Kane,
was
Mr.
stiff.
Kelly.
Lithuania's former foreign
Kennedy, Mr.
foreign
Kim,
minister called
Mr.
Rutte's
King.
approach the gushings of weakness and meekness. Well, I kind of
Ms.
somewhat
Klobuchar.
agreed, but it was the
Mr.
latest
Langford,
confirmation that
Mr.
complimenting
Lee.
is a favorite way for leaders to deal with him, if not a popular one in some circles.
Mr. Lujan.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu,
Ms.
the war
Lummis.
criminal, has been using the tactic since at least 2018 when he called Trump the greatest friend Israel has ever had and even named a settlement in the Golan Heights after him. Oh my God. The late Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe plied him
Mr.
with multiple
Markey.
rounds of golf. French President Emmanuel Macron
Mr. Marshall.
invited Trump to be the guest of honor at Bastille Day in 2017, featuring an elaborate
McConnell.
military parade.
Mr. McCormick.
What
Mr.
Trump left
Merkley.
behind. Rutte
Mrs.
found a way
Mooney,
to make
Mr.
Trump's
Moran.
demand that member countries spend 5% of their gross domestic product
Mr.
on
Moreno.
defense work.
Mr. Mullen.
Their military
Mr.
support to
Murkowski.
Ukraine could count as a substantial slice of that money. But the agreement left big issues unresolved, including a troop reduction that is likely to be announced later in the year, and the
Mr.
potential
Murphy,
for resulting security
Mrs. Murray,
vacuum.
Mr. Ossoff, Mr. Padilla, Mr. Paul,
Posters on
Mr.
social
Peters,
media
Mr.
referred to
Reed,
NATO as the North
Mr.
Atlantic
Ricketts.
Trump Organization. This summit has been all about managing him, and it's all been about trying to get him to say the right thing in the right moment.
Mr. Risch,
Fiona Hill, a former senior White House national security advisor to
Ms.
3 U.S.
Rosen.
presidents, including Trump, told the BBC. By the end of the summit, the participants were declaring it a success
Mr.
as much for
Rounds,
what it
Mr.
prevented
Sanders, Mr.
as for what it
Schatz,
accomplished.
Mr. Schiff,
Trump showed up. He did not blow up, leave early, or start fights. And critically, NATO survived. Indeed, with Trump
Mr.
declaring
Smith.
himself a changed man where the alliance is concerned. And his night in the palace, he said he slept beautifully. Oh, is there a tape? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Mr. Scott of Florida, Mr. Scott of
Just
South
joking.
Carolina, Mr. Shaheen, Mr. Sheehy,
Yeah, I can't. I
Ms.
guess
Slotkin, Ms. Smith, Mr. Sullivan,
That actually is really funny.
Mr. Thune, Mr. Tillis,
It's just like him going to see Les Mis. Like that.
Mr. Tuberville, Mr. Van Hollen, Mr. Warner, Mr. Warnock, Ms. Warren,
I just
Mr.
think
Welch,
that would be like that was like is no
Mr.
I
Whitehouse,
mean everyone was
Mr.
pointing it
Wicker,
out too. Is he not embarrassed? I guess he doesn't have a sense of
Mr.
shame.
Wyden,
Isn't that part of
Mr.
like
Young.
the tyrant mystique? They don't have any shame.
Senators voting in the affirmative: Banks, Barrasso, Blackburn, Britt, Budd, Cassidy, Kramer, Crapo, Cruz, Curtis, Daines, Ernst, Fisher, Graham, Grassley, Haggerty, Hawley.
Okay. Well, they keep
Hoven,
going.
Husted,
Let's see.
Justice, Kennedy,
this.
Langford, Lee, Lummis, Marshall, Moody, Moran, Moreno, Mullen, Paul, Rounds, Scott of Florida, Sheehy, Thune, Tuberville, Wicker, Young. Mr. Cotton,
Okay. Is
Aye.
he going to keep going? All right. So I'm
Senators
going to
voting
keep.
in negative.
They're not done with the vote
also
yet.
Brooks, Baldwin, Bennett, Blumenthal, Blunt Rochester, Booker,
Let's
Cruz,
see
Cortez
here.
Masto,
I want to read you this
Duckworth,
now.
Durbin,
What
Fetterman,
about this?
Gallego, Gillibrand, Hassan,
This is an
Heinrich,
NPR piece from the
Hickenlooper,
26th.
Hirono, Kane, Kelly, Kim,
How does
King,
President Trump make his money,
Markey,
real estate,
Merkley,
hospitality,
Murphy,
and
Murray,
his name?
Ossoff, Padilla,
I don't know. I just thought it might be
Peters,
interesting.
Reed,
President Dump
Sanders,
reported
Scott,
income of
Schiff,
more than
Schumer,
$630
Shaheen,
million last year,
Slotkin, Smith,
including
Van
$57
Hollen,
million from
Warner,
cryptocurrency
Warnock,
sales
Warren,
and more
Welch,
than $8 million
White.
licensing his name for products like watches, guitars, and Bibles. Cotton Eye Joe. It's Joe. What's it? What do we call him? Josh Cotton, Tom Hawley. Yeah. According to a
Mr. Whitehouse.
234-page financial disclosure
No.
released earlier this month on June 13th, the billionaire president has assets of more than $1.6 billion across his business empire that includes real estate, hotels, and golf courses, plus investment accounts and newer Trump-branded ventures touted on the campaign trail. About 3/4 of the income reported is revenue from Trump hotels and golf courses, like his Mar-a-Lago club in Florida. Then there's millions in merchandise and retail sales, plus licensing deals like $2.8 million for
Mrs.
Trump
Capito,
watches,
Mrs.
$2.5
Capito,
million for Trump sneakers
Aye.
and perfumes, and more than $1.3 million from the God Bless the USA Bible, which features the chorus of Lee Greenwood's eponymous song, plus the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and Pledge of Allegiance. Prior to his time in politics, Trump's fortune largely derived from the deals and holdings in his Trump organization, but in recent years he has sought new forms of business, raising conflict of interest concerns and allegations from ethics watchdogs that he may be profiting from the presidency. What? Say it ain't so. That's reflected in the disclosure of more than $57 million in income from selling cryptocurrency tokens through the World
Ms.
Liberty
Cantwell.
Financial crypto venture founded
No.
last year. Keep
Mrs.
your eye on that.
Highsmith.
World Liberty Financial.
Aye.
And does not account for the estimated hundreds of millions of dollars earned this year through the launch of a Trump meme coin. Oh, we read about that, didn't we? Democrats and ethics experts have questioned the president's involvement in crypto. Wait, what? Gentle reminder to call your senators today and let them know we're watching their actions. Very good. Wait, we need that number. It's 224-3121, right? Hold on. Yeah, 224-3121. 202-224-3121. That's the White House switchboard. You can just tell them that you want to leave a message for your senator, or for the House. Oh, that's the House, actually. What about the Senate? How do I contact the U.S. Senate? Oh, it's same number. Duh, it is the switchboard. Okay. So 202-224, 3121, 224-3121, the 202 area code. Call, tell them you want to leave a message for your senator. They'll tell you who they are if you don't know by your zip code.
Miss
And
Collins. Miss Collins.
go to town.
Aye.
Go to town. Okay, let me read this. Go back here. Oh, itchy nose. Okay, Democrats and ethics experts have questioned the president's involvement in crypto at a time when Congress is working on legislation to regulate the burgeoning industry.
Mr. Lujan. Mr.
The White House has
Lujan.
repeatedly pointed out the president's assets are in a revocable trust and said the president follows all ethics laws. Last month, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said it was absurd for anyone to insinuate that this president is profiting off the presidency. Oh my God. Pearls clutched. Trump's financial disclosure shows a diverse stream of income sources ranging from a few $100s in residual checks from appearances in movies and TV shows like The Little Rascals and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, to a few $1,000,000 from selling a Cessna airplane last March. Oh, okay. Whoa. Across 3 trusts and 4 investment accounts, Trump has more than $236 million in investments that earned more than $13 million in interest and dividends. The latest drop, Trump Mobile. The ethics report is a snapshot of a moment in time and does not include new ventures and income since Trump returned to the office in January, including the new Trump Mobile phone company announced by the Trump Organization last week. Launched on the 10-year anniversary of his presidential campaign announcement, it's another example of Trump's brand on full display. The phone plan will reportedly offer service through the 3 major cell providers, and the 47 plan will be available for $47.45, a nod to Trump being the 47th and 45th president. This is a photo illustration. An iPhone displays the website for the Trump Organization's mobile phone service and a Trump-branded smartphone on June 16th.
Aye.
It's so ugly. There's also an option to pre-order a golden T1 phone for $499 that says it is brought to life right here in the USA.
Miss Rosen. No, Mr.
Like many of the
Ricketts.
Trump-named
Mr.
things through the
Ricketts.
years, the Trump Organization is
Mr.
licensing the
Rich.
president's name
Mr.
rather than
Rich.
taking part in the creation or distribution of the actual product. Yeah. The fine print on the website notes Trump SM Mobile, its products and services are not designed, developed, manufactured, distributed, or sold by the Trump's organization or any of their respective affiliates or principals. T1 Mobile LLC
McConnell.
uses the Trump
Mr.
name
McConnell.
and trademark pursuant to the terms of a limited license agreement, which may be terminated or revoked according to its terms. There's a Trump company, DTTM Operations, designed to handle the trademarks and licensing of the Trump name. Long before entering politics, Donald Trump was a name synonymous with brand. The filing provides insight into how that brand has changed over time. Robert Paskoff, founder and president of Brand Keys, has tracked the value and impact of Trump's brand since the 1980s. Said Trump started out as one of a small number of people that you could call a human brand. Oh, so he was just an early influencer? Is that what it is? Let's see. Here we go. Brought to life in the USA. Yeah, like turned on and activated? Exactly, Karen. How does one... Well, I think Max, I appreciate your position that it is really, maybe academic, but I still think it's important because if people stop
Mr.
calling,
McCormick.
then they stop
Mr.
calling.
McCormick.
And so I choose to believe that calling can make a difference, and in its absence, it also makes an impact, and just reaffirms what that Republican senator is about to do. So perhaps it's about creating a record that it is not just about, you know, like being rubber stamped. But you know, to each his own. I'm not telling anybody what to do. But I do think it actually does do some benefit, and its absence, I think, is most notable. Good morning, Paulina San Fran gal. That's Paulina, everybody, if you don't know. That's our beautiful Paulina. Good to see you, darling. Oops, let's go back to our Trump. How does Trump make his money? How does he make his money? If you took a brand new building that you were going to rent out now, you could get $350 a square foot. If you print the Trump name on it, you could get $500 a square foot, Pasikoff said. What the products and services were absorbing were the values that at the time he stood for. Hey. Whoops. Oh. That's true. That's still true now, and that Trump's in politics, but it's for a much different, primarily conservative audience. To borrow from another human brand, he's become the Martha Stewart of the conservative right, Pasikoff said. And what the purchases are more resonant as is political allegiance rather than a desire for a new guitar or running shoes. He said that Trump branded memorabilia and retail stemming from his political career works because it gives people something tangible to demonstrate their personal values. They see these things as being symbols that they can own, that they can show their friends, their family, and the world. This is who I am and what I stand for, he said. That's a good one. Oh, I think that's it. Oh, is that it? All right. Okay. Fine. The other thing was reported. I saw Lev put it up, and also Gal posted this. I know calling Ron Wyden to challenge the trans healthcare ban. Reporting was that he was getting flooded with calls. Oh wow. I mean, I know both. I feel both sides. I totally understand the frustration that one call cannot make a difference. I just hope that it can. You know what I mean? If we don't have that one call, then we don't have like just one less call. That's not good. But again, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. But I do think it's worthwhile. I need to do it. Okay, I wanted to read this because it seemed very important. It's from Lev. Donald Trump lifts sanctions on Russia, allowing U.S. transactions with sanctioned Russian banks, including Sberbank, VTB, and even the central bank for civil nuclear projects. This is a Department of the Treasury. Oh my God, people. You make it too small, too small. Okay, wait. I think it's easier to see if I do it this way. Okay, so let's see. This is the Department of the Treasury, Office of Foreign Assets Control, Russian Harmful Foreign Activities Sanctions Regulations, and then it quotes the Congressional Federal Registry, I guess, authorizing certain transactions related to civil nuclear energy. What? Except as provided in paragraph blah, blah, blah. All transactions prohibited by EO 14024 involving one or more of the following entities that are related to civil nuclear energy are authorized through December 19th, 2025. Gazprom Bank, State Corporation Bank for Development and Foreign, I think that's VTB. Public Joint Stock Company Bank Financial Corporation, Odkrytie. Sovcom Bank Open Joint, Public Joint Stock Companies Bear Bank, VTB, okay. Alpha Bank.
Mr. Cornyn.
What? Rosbank?
Aye.
Zenit? St. Petersburg?
Ms. Murkowski. Ms. Murkowski.
What?
Aye.
Any entity in which one or more of the above persons own directly or indirectly, individually, or in the aggregate, a 50% greater interest of the Central Bank of the Russian Federation. For the purposes of this general license, the terms related to civil nuclear energy means transactions undertaken solely to maintain or support civil nuclear projects initiated before November 21st, 2024. What? There's Paulina. Just want to see if he put any. Oh, yeah, you're not. You're dumb. What? Wow. Doing anything? You're not. Not doing anything. Okay. The other piece I want to read this morning. Sneak in. Which of those does? Probably a lot of them, Carrie. Probably a lot. I mean, that's all the players. That's all the oligarchs right there. I mean, basically. And I don't know what goes into civil nuclear programs, but I have to imagine there's aluminium. Oleg Deripaska. We don't want to, the world does not want to hold them accountable. They don't want to hold each other accountable. That's the problem. They're afraid of the blowback when it comes for them. If people stood up and said, no, this is not normal and we're not going to do it this way, Merrick Garland. If people stood up and said, this is not normal and we're going to fall back on the norms that have held this country together for however 250 years, and even as thin as the threads have been that held it together, we're gonna keep that piece going and hold people accountable like they did in South Korea. This is just weird. This is just so bizarre to me that we find ourselves here. Very depressing. But this was a piece actually from 3 years ago. This is Jim and Gal wrote a piece called Mike Flynn's Plan to Give Nukes to Russia and the Bonesaw Regime. Beginning in 2015, Flynn and his foreign allies wanted to control nuclear technology in the Middle East.
Mr. Sullivan.
And here's the other piece of that, is that as we get into this, it looks more and more like there's whispers about Flynn getting back into the administration sooner rather than later. So it's also topical. Plus, I just put out my great video from the Flynn event, one of the unseen footage. So make sure you look at that. It's on my videos. In fact, it might be the second to the newest one. Maybe third. Maybe it's the newest one. I don't know. It's in the top 3, I guess, of the latest videos. So it should be easy to find. That's my point.
I don't see how we can. Yeah, I don't see how we cannot.
Wait, what's a minute?
On this vote, the yeas are 53, the nays are 47. The decision of the chair stands as the judgment of the Senate.
Mr. President.
The senator from Idaho is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent that Senator Risch and I be permitted to speak for up to 1 minute each regarding the recent tragedy in our state.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Senate
We have
has
order.
And that I understand, and it is very important to hear about what happened in Idaho. I'm just going to kindly preempt this, and so that we can get through some reading on this day. But my hearts are with everyone in Idaho as well. So, and there's a famous picture in the White House of Dump and Jared Kushner and Mike Flynn. Trump talks on the phone with King Salman of Saudi Arabia with Jared Kushner and Michael Flynn nearby on January 29th, 2017 in Washington, D.C. According to the DOJ, and keep in mind this was in this was in August 2022 that Jim wrote this, so it's not updated to any new information. According to the DOJ FBI, Donald Trump was storing top secret SCI documents in his Florida beach house, and apparently nuclear documents were part of it. As my research partner Gal Suburban discovered, the second to last executive order signed by Trump the day before the insurrection was this. And then a tweet from Gal. Trump signed the executive order January 5th, 2021. He clearly didn't write it. I broke out the language, and then I'll explain why I think Trump and his friends would benefit from U.S. government nuclear secrets. EO 13972, promoting small modular reactors for national defense and space exploration. What? Oh, it's going to take me to that. Okay, that's fine. Oh man, I can't read that. I'm so blind. Blinded by the light. Purpose. Nuclear energy is critical to the United States. This is the EO. On July 12, 2019, I signed a presidential memorandum entitled The Effect of Uranium Imports on the National Security and Establishment of the United States Nuclear Fuel Working Group, with the goal of examining the current state of domestic nuclear fuel production and reinvigorating the nuclear fuel supply chain. On August 20th, 2019, I signed a National Security Presidential Memorandum 20 entitled Launch of Spacecraft Containing Space Nuclear Systems, calling for development and use of space nuclear systems to enable or enhance space exploration and operational capabilities. Oh, wait.
Deep sorrow for everyone in those impacted communities. It is close to the border of Washington. Many of our responders joined with all of you, and our hearts and thoughts and prayers go to everyone impacted. That community will be devastated for a long time to come.
Thank you. And as we close, I would just like to thank my colleagues from Washington, as well as all of you. Many of you have come up and expressed your sentiments today. And I would say even the federal workers were there, the FBI and others. There was a huge influx of support from those who put their lives on the line every day, and some lost their lives yesterday. And so because of that, I just ask that you join us for just a moment of silence and prayer. President.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Senator from New York is recognized.
I have a motion to commit at the desk.
Clerk will report.
The senator from New York, Mr. Schumer, moves to commit the bill H.R. 1 to the Committee on Finance, the Senate, with instructions to report the same back to the Senate in 3 days, not counting any day which the Senate is not in session.
I ask that further reading of the motion be dispensed with.
Without objection.
Mr. President, can we have order, please? This amendment, the first we will offer, is simple. It undoes the travesty that is at the core of the Republican bill. Their bill, the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, which is really a big, ugly betrayal, cuts taxes for billionaires by taking away health care from millions of people. So my amendment simply says, if people's health care costs go up, the billionaire tax cuts vanish. Republicans, you can tell in their speeches already, are on the defensive. They know how bad this bill is for the American people. They know that Donald Trump is lying when he says it won't cut health care. I salute my colleague from North Carolina. We all heard what our colleague from North Carolina had to say yesterday about this bill. My guess is about half, maybe even more than half, of the Republicans in the Senate agree with him. But he had the courage to speak the truth. He said it himself. The bill devastates his state, but make no mistake about it, it will devastate the states of almost every Republican here. It is outrageous, outrageous to take food out of the mouths of hungry children, to take health care away from people who need it to survive.
Senator's time has expired.
Just for tax cuts for billionaires. and the American people know it.
I'm so
To my colleagues
sorry,
in
but
Senator's
I'm
time has expired.
To my colleagues
done
in
with
conclusion, I
Schumer
say you know what the
and
right
his
thing
bullshit
is.
speeches.
Say no to gutting health care. Say no to gutting jobs. Say no to this shameful,
The senator's time has expired.
backward bill, and vote yes.
I mean,
Chair
Chuck, it's just
recognizes
not
Senator
even, I don't even believe you're upset
Thank you,
about
Mr.
it.
President. This is going to be something that we hear just a lot of today, and this will just be the first first shot at it. The bottom line is, billionaires are going to pay the same amount of taxes after this bill as they paid before this bill. They're going to pay the same amount. This notion about billionaires getting a tax cut
What?
at the expense of
I'm
everybody
sorry,
else
sir.
is
Have you
just
read the bill?
politics of class.
Really?
Rather than the politics of fear. The rest of the argument is the politics of fear.
Or the realities
The reality
of class.
is the reforms we are putting into place are to try to rein in control of wasteful and fraudulent and abusive
Been no analysis
spending
for any
that
of the
actually
cuts that are
diverts
being made.
resources away
Zero
from the
analysis.
people who these programs really deserve to receive. I urge a strong no vote against this amendment.
Is there a sufficient second? There appears to be. Clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Alsobrooks. Ms. Baldwin.
He just pisses me off. I know. Hi, Scott. How are you? It's good to see you. You know, I don't mind. You know, Chuck's probably a decent human
Banks.
being. I'm not saying that, but it's just, you know, you need.
Mr. Barrasso.
He's not the right spokesperson at this time. His time is past. His time is probably way past. He doesn't do us anybody any favors. And guess what? Neither does Hakeem Jeffries. And I love Hakeem Jeffries. I think he's great. But he also has missed the plot of this. And if he says MAGA extreme Republicans one more time, I'm going to jump off a bridge. Like, stop it.
Mr. Bennett.
You have to be specific. You have to be direct. You have to be specific, and you have to express the gravity
Mrs.
of the
Blackburn, Mr.
situation.
Blumenthal, Ms. Blunt-Rochester.
It is imperative now that we have politicians and representatives who are clear-eyed
Mr.
on
Bozeman.
on what people are going through, and the fact that it's quickly the autocracy is spreading, and it's in the streets, certainly in Los Angeles and in other places. Yeah, and name names. Like, don't accept this as what it, you know, that you have to go through the dance. There is no more dance. There's no more dance. There's only results. There's only standing in the breach. That's all that is left.
Mrs. Capito, Mr. Cassidy. Ms. Collins.
I don't know.
Mr. Coons. Mr. Cornyn. Ms. Cortez Masto.
Not many Dems have gravitas. Yeah, I mean, and certainly, but there are a lot of senators and representatives that we see that are excellent spokespeople for where we are now, right? And tell us what we
Mr.
do
Kramer,
need to
Mr.
hear.
Crapo.
So I just say utilize your talent a lot better, Democrats, which I know is kind of stupid. It's like Jim posted something this
Cruz.
morning.
Mr. Daines. Ms. Duckworth.
What
Mr.
was it?
Durbin.
Democrats need fresh ideas, and then, you know, a Zoran Mamdani meme, and then like, no, not those ideas, you know, that kind of thing.
Ernst.
So it's true. Like, I don't understand who these
Fetterman, Mrs.
Democrats,
Fisher.
maybe that's my problem, is I don't know
Gallego,
a lot of Democrats who are
Gillibrand.
so centrist that they don't want to, like, they're not
Graham,
willing
Mr.
to
Grassley,
embrace
Mr. Haggerty.
new ideas. Like, I don't feel like I know any Democrats like that, but I'm sure they must exist. But I feel like they're just mild Republicans. You know what I mean? Like, they're not really Democrats. I feel like the heart of Democrat has been, at least, I don't know. It was when I was growing up anyway.
Ms.
What I
Hassel,
was taught
Mr.
to
Hall.
believe was that as a Democrat, we made choices that benefited all boats, right? That was the point, is that it wasn't about what did you get
Mr.
out
Heinrich,
of it
Mr.
necessarily,
Hickenlooper.
but how does everybody get something
Mr.
out of
Rono.
it? That's how I grew up,
Mr. Hoven.
learning about Democrats.
Mr. Husted.
And it wasn't tied
Mrs. Hyde
to,
Smith, Mr.
you know,
Johnson,
any
Mr.
kind
Justice.
other thing than what is the best
Kane,
thing for
Mr.
everyone?
Kelly,
And
Mr.
how do you
Kennedy,
make it a level playing field for
Mr. Kim,
everyone?
Mr. King,
Even when it doesn't necessarily seem
Ms.
to benefit
Klobuchar,
you directly. That to me was the heart of Democrats. And
Mr.
they didn't
Langford,
always, they disappoint you all the time because humans are still very vulnerable
Mr.
to
Lee,
like corruption and other things.
Mr.
So,
Lujan, Ms. Lemus, Mr. Markey,
and no one is a monolith,
Mr. Marshall, Mr.
right?
McConnell,
So
Mr.
I understand
McCormick,
that, but I don't know. I just,
Mr. Merkley,
yeah,
Mrs.
high tides
Moody,
rise
Mr.
and trickle
Moran,
down it's just the rich pissing on us. Exactly. It totally is. It totally is just
Mr.
like
Marino,
a boondoggle.
Mr.
Sheldon
Mullen,
Whitehouse was, yeah, exactly. I believe Sheldon Whitehouse was angry. I don't believe Schumer. I agree with you, Meow, you
Ms.
star.
Murkowski,
I think Chuck has become very performative at this point in his career, which I get. There comes a point when you're not necessarily like
Mr. Murphy,
tuned
Mrs.
in,
Murray,
and it may never have been your strength. Like his strength may
Mr.
have been whatever
Ossoff,
he's done for the last umpty years, being in the Senate.
Mr. Padilla, Mr. Paul, Mr. Peters,
But those days are done. And I actually think he benefited from Nancy
Reed,
Pelosi. If you want to know the truth, I think
Ricketts,
Chuck Schumer benefited because
Mr.
Nancy
Risch,
Pelosi was so strong.
Ms.
So
Rosen,
what was sent from the House over to the
Mr.
Senate,
Rounds,
if she was in power,
Mr.
was
Sanders,
entirely
Mr. Schatz, Mr.
made his
Schiff,
job easier. So I believe Chuck
Mr.
Schumer
Schmidt,
benefited from Nancy Pelosi
Mr. Schumer, Mr. Scott of
personally,
Florida,
and that's a lot
Mr.
of
Scott
people
of South Carolina,
rode her
Mrs.
coattails,
Shaheen,
but
Mr.
really
Sheehy,
weren't as
Ms.
effective
Slotkin,
legislators as she was. Sorry, not
Ms.
sorry.
Smith,
She
Mr.
knew
Sullivan,
how to
Mr.
whip
Thune,
votes.
Mr. Tillis, Mr.
She didn't bring
Tuberville,
something to the floor
Mr.
for a
Van
vote
Hollen,
unless she knew she
Mr.
had
Warner,
them.
Mr. Warnock,
That's
Ms.
fucking
Warren,
talent,
Mr. Welch, Mr. Whitehouse,
no matter
Mr.
how you
Wicker,
slice it. Thank God she
Mr.
was a
Wyden,
Democrat.
Mr. Young,
And even she didn't, I don't agree with everything. So for me, being a Democrat isn't about agreeing with everybody on everything. It's about the ultimate worldview of, are we all better together or are we better apart? Is it better when someone doesn't get something so that we can get more? Or is it okay if I
Senators
get a
voting in
little
the
less,
affirmative.
or they get a
Also,
little
Brooks,
more, or they
Baldwin,
get a little
Bennett,
less, and I get a little more?
Blumenthal,
You know what I mean?
Rochester,
Like, can that be the
Duckworth,
balance?
Durbin,
That to me seems like
Gallego,
more democratic policy
Hassan,
than
Heinrich, Kane, Kim, King,
Than who
Klobuchar,
loses.
Lujan,
Now,
Merkley,
I do think
Murray,
I do
Padilla,
think there's a lot
Rosen,
of socialist
Sanders,
type of
Schatz, Schumer,
ideals
Shaheen,
that
Slotkin,
make a lot of
Smith,
sense, and I think
Van
that's
Hollen,
where the party
Warren,
is headed,
Welch,
and
Whitehouse,
it'll be
and
driven
Wyden.
by the voting bloc.
Senators voting in the
So
negative.
there you go. I mean,
Blackburn, Bozeman,
I believe
Britt,
the next generation
Capito,
will definitely
Cassidy,
change the way
Cornyn, Cotton,
politics
Kramer,
are perceived and
Cruz,
executed.
Curtis, Daines,
Hopefully they'll get rid of
Ernst,
Citizens
Fisher,
United. I really hope
Graham,
so. I think that would be a
Grassley,
great first step.
Haggerty, Hyde-Smith,
I think that would help a lot.
Johnson, Kennedy, Langford, Lummis,
Just across the
Marshall,
board.
Moody, Moran, Paul, Ricketts, Schmidt,
don't know.
Sheehy, Sullivan, Thune,
I don't know.
Tillis,
I can't wait to
Tuberville,
see. I hope
and
Mom
Young.
Dami stays safe and is really successful because I think
Banks, no. Mr.
it's exciting to see
Husted,
a leader in
No.
such an important
Mr.
city.
Reed,
Such a
Aye.
big representation of people. It'd be great to see that in action, and I think that would be good momentum for the entire party. But another thing I'm always
Mr.
pissy
Peters,
about, I'm
aye.
always pissy about, is the Democratic National Committee, or I don't know. I don't even understand who's who, to be honest with you. But here's my issue. There's two jobs, as far as I can tell, that the DNC should be doing. Maybe they don't do them, but
Crapo.
this is what I feel like would be
No.
what the Democrat National Committee should be doing. First of all, they should be fundraising. That's fine. They can organize the events. They can do all this. Centralizing that
Biden.
is a great idea.
No.
They should also develop a very comprehensive development package for young Democrats coming up through any office across the country. And
Mr.
as
Hawley.
part of that, their job should be
No.
to ensure that in every
Ossoff.
district, in every fucking
Aye.
seat, I don't
Mr.
even care if
Mullen.
it's school board or what,
No.
that there are Democrats in that community that are running. That to me is the maybe 3 jobs that the DNC should have. do national event planning so that people can do events locally to raise money for Democratic candidates, provide that infrastructure, identify and train and develop local talent for every position, and make sure that there are standing Democrats or whatever you want to call them, democracy-loving candidates, if you will, in every race, period. Because you've got state level and county level, you've got Democratic National Committee structure, it seems to me, all the way down the
Cortez
line.
Masto, aye.
So there's no reason that you already have the ground force. You already have the ground force. And guess what? We're sitting here because Steve Bannon back in the day said run for school board. That's why we're here right now, by the way. Because way
Mr.
back
Hickenlooper,
when,
aye.
he was like, you all should run for school board. And they did. So, anyway, that's my advice to the Democratic National Committee, which did not ask for it. But here we are. Yeah, so that's it. That's how I feel. But nobody cares. It doesn't matter. Hey, share the
Mr.
broadcast.
Justice.
Maybe someone will see it
No.
that can do something about it. I doubt it, but that's okay.
Ms.
8 out of 12.
Murkowski,
See, Max is like this classic district.
No.
8 out of 12 spots on my Democratic primary ballot had no candidate filed. Out of the 4 choices, 2 were running as Republican/Democrat. And like, identify the shenanigans that are going on in Florida races, right? We hear all the time, especially about Florida races, where there's candidates posted up as with similar names to the Democrat. A fake
Risch.
candidate that
No.
opposes the Democrat. You know, like audit that shit.
Murphy.
They should
Aye.
have the infrastructure to audit that kind of shit in the moment. We shouldn't have to find out about it after the election is
Serrano.
over. Why are we finding out about
Aye.
that then? That should be like headline news.
Mr. Warnock, aye.
I mean, God. Very frustrating. Very frustrating.
Mr. Wicker, no.
I just can't believe everything they did really worked. You know? And everyone was just like poo-pooing it. Like, oh, it's
Mr.
blue and on.
Sullivan.
Oh, you're
No.
overthinking it. Oh, people aren't that coordinated. Oh. Well, apparently they didn't need to be any of those things. Because they won. Because they literally
Markey.
have a stranglehold
Aye.
on SCOTUS and the Senate and the House. And never mind the administration. That's full on balls deep Nazi. So, I don't know. I suppose I could, volunteer for my local Democrat party. I could probably put my money where my mouth is. Maybe that's what I could do. I don't know. I'm not very good at like campaigny type politics stuff. And I don't know the data around how to, all that stuff. Like I feel like there'd be a certain amount of data gathering that I'm kind of at ground zero on. But I don't know, maybe I should just call them and say, hey, what about this? What do you guys do? What do you guys do? One of my House representatives started out in my hometown when she saw a void in Democrat
Rounds,
candidates running
no.
for office and stepped in. That's beautiful. I think that's a beautiful
Mr. Marino.
story.
No.
I know. I don't trust myself. I know. See, the thing is I'm a completely unacceptable candidate. I smoke weed. I swear. I just have no. I'm a little emotionally unbalanced.
Mr. Warner.
I don't know what the kind
Aye.
thing to say about that is, but I don't know. I know. The other classes they have at this comedy place, well, the Ground Lanes has it. No, maybe the other one does too. Anyways, vocal comedy or something like that. Maybe it was something else. But it was like singing. Like, I might want to do that because, you know, we have a lot of parody
Mr.
songs. So maybe
McCormick.
there's something
No.
there.
Mr. Schiff, aye.
Maybe it would benefit me to learn how to do that. So I might take that
Mr.
class.
Lee.
I think it's just a one-time
No.
class.
Ms.
I
Cantwell.
don't know. I'm going to try that.
Aye.
I should. What'd you say, Max? Just go lounging. Hey, gal. How you doing? We're just shooting the shit. I was reading actually your and Jim's piece from 2022. If you didn't know, I saw you post that this morning, so I pulled it off of your Blue Sky. Oops! Oh man, I did it again. Oops! I did it again. I played with your heart. All right. So perfect timing, gal, because this is where I was at. I just finished looking at your thread. It is a fascinating document laid out by Gal. Please read her thread. As I have mentioned, Trump's lawyer in the case is Mike Flynn's former lawyer in Afghanistan, ex-OAN reporter, Russian asset Christina Bob, #Bobski. It's important to remember that while the Trump inauguration was underway, Mike Flynn was pushing through a deal that would transfer nuclear technology to the Saudis with indicted foreign agent Tom Barrack, who is now the special envoy to Syria. Yeah. Oh, Supreme Court will hear a challenge to limits on political party spending. Oh. That's interesting. We'll
Mr.
take a look at
McConnell.
that.
No.
Let's see. So this is former Trump advisor Tom Barrack to go on trial for foreign lobbying charges in September. Well, look, kids, you too could be up on federal charges, but then end up an actual special envoy to Syria. You too could do that. That's right. Oh, thank you, love. Thank you. The late,
Scott
great
of South
Elijah
Carolina,
Cummings was very
no.
interested in Mike Flynn's efforts to push nukes into the Middle East with Russia. Here's a letter Cummings wrote to the head of the Oversight Committee, Trey Gowdy. Oh my
Mr.
God, remember
Hoven.
him? On
No.
December 6, 2017, after Mike Flynn signed a cooperation agreement with the DOJ several days before. Hey. Oh, I see. It's just the picture. Okay. Let's see. So this is to Trey Gowdy from Elijah Cummings. Today I'm writing to inform you about a whistleblower who has come forward with evidence that Lieutenant General Michael
This is
Flynn, within
Gillibrand,
minutes of
aye.
Donald Trump being sworn in as president, was communicating directly with the former business colleagues about their plan to work with Russia to build nuclear reactors in the Middle East. According to the whistleblower, General Flynn reportedly sent a
Coons.
key communication on
Aye.
Inauguration Day indicating that the project was now good to go and
Ms.
directing his
Collins.
business colleagues to move
No.
forward. Oops, I did it again. Cummings wanted Gowdy to subpoena Mike Flynn and everyone else associated with this plot. Hi, Tom. How you doing? Here we are, Tom. You're right. SMRs. For the reasons set forth above, I ask that you now issue subpoenas to the following individuals and entities seeking all documents, including emails and text messages sent on personal devices, relating to General Flynn's foreign contacts and payments, General Flynn's disclosure of
Scott
the
of
information
Florida,
to the
no.
President or White House officials, and efforts by General Flynn and others before and after the election to promote this proposal. White House Chief of Staff John Kelly,
Mr. Fetterman, aye.
General Michael Flynn Jr., Bijan Keon, and Flynn Intel
Warren
Group.
Kelly.
Alex Copson, Thomas Cochran, Donald Gross, ACU
Mr. Booker, aye.
Strategic Partners, and Exco Dynamics. Rear Admiral Hewitt, Bud McFarland, Exco Dynamics, IP3 Corporation, and
Mr.
Iron
Kelly.
Bridge Group, and
Aye.
Thomas Barrack and Katie McFarland. Of course, whoa. Of course, Mike Flynn's Q PSYOP pointed to his friend Trey Gowdy from the beginning. This Q drop, number 3 out of nearly 5,000. Oh. I'm not going to read it, but it does mention Trey Gowdy. Needless to say, Trey Gowdy did not subpoena Mike Flynn. Wait, thanks for follow. I don't post anything now. That's okay. That's all right. Let's see. Mike Flynn was an advisor to several lobbying firms that were putting this deal together. Two notable figures involved were Reagan Iran-Contra rat fucker.
On this motion, the yeas are 47, the nays are 53. The motion is not agreed to. I recognize the senator from Massachusetts.
Denny Marino.
Mr. President, I have a motion to commit at the desk.
The clerk will report.
The senator from Massachusetts, Mr. Markey, moves to commit the bill H.R. 1 to the Committee on Finance of the Senate with instructions to report the same back to the Senate in 3 days.
I further ask further reading of the motion be dispensed with.
Without objection.
I rise today to cut any part of this big, ugly bill that would force rural hospitals to limit their services or actually close their doors. I have released a list of more than 300 rural hospitals across the country at risk of closing or stopping services because of any major cuts to Medicare and Medicaid. Today, that's what Republicans are guaranteeing. With a $1 trillion cut to our healthcare system, they would create in this bill. My Republican colleagues' so-called Medicaid Cuts Replacement Fund is like giving aspirin to a cancer patient. It is not enough. It is pathetically inadequate to deal with the health care crisis Republicans are creating here today on the Senate floor. No billionaire tax break or Donald Trump pat on the back is worth the risk of people's lives. Vote yes on this motion. Stop these health care cuts.
Mr. President.
I recognize the senator from Idaho.
Mr. President, more of the politics of fear. Rural hospitals and providers not only deliver essential health care services in their communities, but also strengthen local economies, employing hundreds of individuals and supporting regional business development. Unfortunately, for far too long, some rural hospitals have struggled to achieve financial stability, even with a wide range of targeted payment enhancements. These issues predate the consideration of the reforms that we are including in the legislation today. Let me be clear. This amendment is intended to derail this very bill. The Finance Committee has a long tradition of coming together on bipartisan issues, like bolstering our rural health care system. And I look forward to working with all my colleagues
But you're
to advance
not.
permanent solutions to provide
you're
rural
not, bitch.
providers
But
from
you're not.
telehealth to innovative reimbursement models.
But you're not.
Today we need to pass this essential legislation, and I oppose this amendment.
Oh, thank you so much.
Motion is on the motion. Is there a sufficient second? There appears to be. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Also
This
Brooks,
guy is such
Ms.
a
Baldwin,
fucking douchebag. That's Bernie Marino, right? I fucking hate this guy so much. He's like a faker. Yeah, Gal just dropped an archive of a article from WAPO. Supreme Court will hear challenge to limits on political party spending. The Republicans who sued are asking the Supreme Court to lift restrictions on how much political parties can spend on candidates, saying they violate free speech protections. What? What? Wait, what? Wait, what? What? We just want a crime in the open. Please let us crime right now. We're gonna crime, we're gonna crime, we're gonna crime. All right, I'm gonna read the rest of this. Mike Flynn was an advisor to several lobbying firms that were putting this deal together. Two notable figures. Reagan, I just want to read that again.
Mr.
Reagan,
Banks.
Iran-Contra. Are you being funny? Are you being funny? Oh my God. Who is that being funny? They want more money in politics,
Brasso.
but Soros, yeah. Mhm.
Mr. Bennett.
Oh, not, they don't want his money in politics. Come on. It's
Mrs.
about whose
Blackburn,
money
Mr.
it is.
Blumenthal.
Is it even his money anymore?
Okay.
I mean, have you ever gotten a grant from the Open Society Foundation? It's not easy to get. Like, and I even applied for a job with them once, and I got turned down. So, you know what? Like, He doesn't just hire everybody.
Ms.
I'm
Plum
telling you right
Rochester.
now, they give a lot more to the Open Society Foundation, specter
Booker,
over
Mr.
nonprofit
Bozeman.
giving than it actually deserves. I'm just saying. God, I've seen bigger grants. Yeah, Max says if the hospital here closes, then goes the whole community. It's the largest employer in the county next to the state. That's
Mrs.
going to
Britt,
happen.
Mr. Bud.
The worst cuts hit after 2028
Ms.
elections.
Cantwell.
Exactly, Tom. I don't know about the general public, but I can see what they're doing. I know that's the problem. I don't think anybody's done a really good job of saying this. Well, I mean, people have tried. Don't get me wrong. I like Elizabeth
Mrs.
Warren and her
Capito.
things. So I'm saying it's out there, but it doesn't feel like
Mr.
it's part of the
Cassidy.
collective fabric, right? Like people don't have a common understanding,
Ms. Collins.
I think, of what this is doing, and the fact that all these things are changing so much at the last minute, too.
Mr. Coons, Mr. Cornyn.
Let's see.
Cortez
They want
Masto.
more. Yeah, they want more money. If you aren't paying attention, this telegraphing
Cotton,
of what they're
Mr.
doing goes
Kramer.
completely under the radar. It really
Mr.
does.
Crapo.
And I use my brothers and sisters as like a barometer. And actually, they're pretty
Cruz.
on top of like what's happening with this bill. So I do think
Mr.
the
Curtis.
general message is going out. I just don't know if like this has been drawn up into what
Mr.
is the end
Daines.
game. You know,
Ms.
what is a
Duckworth.
possible end game? I think people don't want to talk about that.
Mr. Durbin.
Anonymous is releasing the Trump Epstein files. Does he have them? Does Anonymous have them? They have them? Is Kash Patel anonymous? No. Is that what's been happening? Once the second biggest employer in the county closes, what happens to the rest of the community? It will be a
Ms.
disaster.
Ernst.
Yeah, I just don't know what's going to happen. That's the problem. And I think what really struck me about Elizabeth Warren on her little piece on Brian Tyler Cohen the other day was that she said 1 in 4 nursing homes will close under this funding structure. And
Mr.
she says, I
Fetterman.
don't mean struggle.
Mrs.
I don't
Fisher.
mean just make it. I don't mean get by. I mean close. And like that has to
Mr.
give
Gallego,
people a
Mrs.
lot of
Gillibrand,
pause because
Mr. Graham.
I know that elder care and other things are so expensive
Mr.
these
Grassley.
days that if you don't have nursing homes and enough beds basically for people to live, what's going to happen to those people? If you have to take care of your elderly relative and not be able to work as much as you did, like all of this has an impact. I don't understand. I mean,
Mr.
I do
Haggerty,
understand the
Ms.
corruption,
Hassan.
but I don't understand how that outweighs the opportunity to actually improve lives for your voters, which I think would ultimately benefit you financially in some way, right? Like, I don't know what that means, but, or whatever, I mean, just putting it practically, it doesn't seem to make much sense.
Mr. Heinrich.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I hope they do.
Mr.
But,
Hickenlooper.
I mean, I'm not going to hold my breath.
Ms. Sorono.
Oops, wait, where am I? So this is a Newsweek article. Just going back to the Mike Flynn article. Flynn, Russia nuclear. Okay. Mike Flynn, Russia, and a grand scheme to build nuclear power plants in Saudi Arabia and the Arab world. This is a piece from Newsweek from June 9th, 2017. So, and it says, let's see, further plans to sideline Iran, Johnson wrote, including the development of Exco, the Hewitt company that
Mr.
Flynn was
Hoven.
advising, with its very visible deployment of Sea Launch, a Russian company that would provide a platform for rockets to put surveillance
Husted.
satellites in orbit. How in the
Mrs.
world does he do
Hyde-Smith.
so much with Russia and claim to be so, whatever, like America first? Okay, Jeff Sessions was mentioned by Q hundreds of times. Ezra Cohen Watnick was installed in Sessions' office in 2018.
Mr. Johnson,
Ezra
Mr.
working
Justice.
for, didn't he work for Mike Flynn?
Mr. Kane.
Hewitt was working with Kaspersky Labs in 2015 to help set the stage for the deal. Kaspersky has subsequently been identified as an arm of Russian intelligence. Oopsie.
Mr.
In case
Kelly.
you missed it, here is United. This is the case text from U.S.
Mr.
Reed
Kennedy.
Michael Flynn. Elijah Cummings did not wait for Trey Gowdy to subpoena
Kim,
anyone
Mr.
to
King.
commission a report on the Trump-Saudi nuclear deal. He produced this report in February 2019. Oh, I want to read that.
Ms. Klobuchar.
I want to
Mr.
read
Langford,
that. I mean,
Mr.
I'm just
Lee,
going to
Mr.
download it.
Lujan,
I'm sorry.
Ms.
That was
Lummis.
terrible. Okay. This document is replete with details describing Flynn's involvement in the
Mr.
plan and the
Markey.
connections to Russia and other enemy nation states. For example, Flynn made 2 paid trips to visit the Saudis to boost the deal in June and October of
Marshall.
2015. It's a good time for a reminder that Mike Flynn was paid by NSO Group, who developed the Pegasus software that
Mr.
entrapped
McConnell.
Jamal Khashoggi and enabled his
McCormick.
murder by the Saudis. As National Security Advisor for 24 days, Mike Flynn littered the National Security
Mr.
Council with his
Merkley.
operatives,
Mrs. Moody.
including Ezra Cohen
Mr.
Watnick,
Moran.
Rich Higgins, and Devin
Mr.
Nunes'
Moreno.
aide, Derek Harvey. Through the first half of 2017, despite Flynn's resignation for lying about his contacts with the Russians, Harvey
Mr.
continued to
Mullen.
try and push the Saudi-Russia deal through at Mike
Ms.
Flynn's
Murkowski.
direction. This is from the report, despite the concerns of whistleblowers and NSC attorneys, even after the president fired General Flynn in mid-February, officials inside the White House continued to move forward on the IP-3 nuclear plan. More than 5 individuals separately confirmed that Mr. Harvey stated during a meeting on March 2nd, 2017,
Mr.
I
Murphy,
speak with
Mrs.
Michael
Murray.
Flynn every night. He comes to me in my dreams.
Ossoff.
Alex Copson, a former business colleague of National Security
Mr.
Advisor
Padilla,
Michael
Mr.
Flynn,
Paul.
who had been pitching a Middle East nuclear project from his company, ACU Strategic Partners, reportedly bragged at an Inauguration Day event that General Flynn had sent him a text message that the Middle East nuclear proposal or project was good to go, and directing Mr. Copson to contact their business colleagues to let them know to put things in place. This description was provided by a whistleblower who attended the Inauguration Day event. The week of January 21st,
Mr.
2017,
Reed,
at
Mr.
an
Ricketts.
organizational meeting with NSC staff detailed from the intelligence
Mr.
community in the
Risch.
State Department, Derek Harvey, the Senior Director for Middle East and North African
Rosen,
Affairs at the
Mr.
National
Rounds.
Security Council and a top aide to General Flynn, stated that he had prepared
Mr.
a new
Sanders.
strategy for U.S. Engagement
Mr.
in the
Schatz,
Middle East
Mr.
that
Schiff,
included
Mr.
a
Schmidt,
new regional economic
Schumer.
and energy plan. He also stated that he developed this new strategy
Mr.
during the
Scott of
transition
Florida,
period
Mr.
in
Scott
response
of
to a
South
request
Carolina,
from General
Mr.
Flynn.
Shaheen, Mr. Sheehy, Ms.
During
Slotkin,
the
Ms.
same
Smith,
meeting, the NSC staff explained
Mr.
that 2
Sullivan.
NSC offices were responsible for economic and energy issues, and that subject matter experts at the NSC and departments typically work together to prepare and vet proposals for the president and his national security team. The staff also told Mr. Harvey that the Obama administration had prepared a transition memorandum outlining the status of ongoing U.S. energy and economic initiatives with countries in the Middle East. Mr. Harvey
Mr.
declined
Thune,
to
Mr.
obtain
Tillis,
input
Mr.
from economic and
Tuberville.
energy subject matter experts at the NSC or cabinet departments. Instead, he asserted that General
Mr. Van
Flynn had
Hollen.
directed Mr. Harvey to take charge of the new regional and economic
Mr.
energy
Warner,
plan for the
Mr.
Middle
Warnock.
East, which would include, quote, dozens of nuclear power plants.
Ms. Warren, Mr.
Skipping
Welch,
forward to
Mr. Whitehouse,
2022, not today, 2022, the Russians are clearly watching this unfold and
Mr.
are
Wicker.
gloating and taunting the U.S. about the
Mr.
newest
Wyden.
nuclear weapons developed by the U.S.
Mr.
being
Young.
part of the Mar-a-Lago documents. I don't believe them. Seems to me that these documents are going to be about nuclear energy, which of course can be used to build nukes at a later time. See Gal's thread above. And this is a Julia Davis piece. Meanwhile, in Russia, Putin's mouthpieces on state TV are taunting America about top-secret documents sought during the raid of Trump's estate, which they claim had to do with the newest nuclear weapons developed by the U.S., and gleefully imply that Moscow already got to see them.
Оказывается, против Трампа расследуется дело о пропаже секретных документов из Белого дома, которые касались разработок нового ядерного оружия США. При этом, что это за оружие, что в итоге нашли в особняке у Трампа, на этот счет ФБР не сообщает. Хотя, очевидно, если важные документы и были, то их давно изучают в Москве. Чего искать-то?
Senators voting the affirmative.
That woman's so
Brooks,
funny. She's always
Baldwin,
looking like, I just
Blumenthal,
ate a
Blum
canary.
Rochester, Booker, Cantwell, Coons, Cortez Masto, Duckworth, Durbin, Fetterman, Gallego, Gillibrand, Hassan, Heinrich, Hickenlooper,
Where is
Hirono,
everybody?
Kane,
Speaking of
Kim,
the Russians and
King,
nuclear energy, the
Klobuchar,
Biden
Lujan,
administration needs to help
Markey,
us understand
Merkley,
why Russian
Murkowski,
nuclear developer
Ossoff,
Rosatom,
Padilla,
who built the
Reed,
Saudi
Rosen,
nuclear power
Sanders,
plants and
Schatz, Schiff,
Flynn's Marshall Plan
Shaheen,
for the Middle
Slotkin,
East, has
Smith,
escaped sanctions.
Warner, Warren,
Well,
Welch,
it
White
doesn't
House,
matter
White.
because we just reversed all the sanctions
Senators
this
voting
morning,
the
if you
negative.
don't know.
Banks, Barrasso, Blackburn, Britt,
Yeah,
Bud,
I know,
Capito,
Elijah Cummings,
Cornyn,
rest in peace.
Cotton, Kramer, Crapo, Cruz,
We didn't
Daines,
always deserve you.
Ernst, Fisher, Graham,
The
Grassley,
Rosatom exemption,
Haggerty,
how Russia's
Husted,
state-run nuclear
Hyde-Smith,
giant has
Johnson,
escaped
Justice,
sanctions.
Kennedy,
Again, doesn't matter
Langford,
now.
Lee, Lummis,
Finally, I will refer
Marshall,
back to
Moody,
this meme for broader
Moran,
context.
Moreno, Mullen,
MBS and
Hall,
MBZ
Schmidt,
are just as much a
Scott
part of the plan
Florida,
to
Scott
destroy
of South
global liberal
Carolina,
democracy
Sheehy,
as Putin.
Thune, Tillis,
The Saudis
Tuberville,
financed
and
9/11,
Wicker.
and now they want to build nukes with Russia.
Mr.
Telegram
Bennett.
CEO lives in the UAE, as does Eric
Aye.
Prince. Are we
Mr.
starting to
Peters.
grasp this yet? Arrest Mike
Aye.
Flynn. Yes. This is his meme. 12 fascists hell-bent on destroying global liberal democracy. MBS and MBZ, Putin, Mercer, Koch,
Mr. Cassidy.
Thiel, Prince,
No.
Flynn, Bannon, Stone, Trump, and Musk. Wow, it didn't really change from 2022,
Mr.
did it?
Bozeman. Mr. Bozeman.
Really good job, Jim.
No.
Wow. Imagine
Mr.
if...
Van Hollen.
I don't know. No, I'm not going
Aye.
to talk about it. Never mind. Supreme Court will hear challenge to limits on
Murphy.
political party spending.
Aye.
Let's see if there's more here. Okay, the Supreme Court will hear a significant campaign finance case next term that will examine whether it violates the Constitution to restrict the amount of money that political parties can spend in coordination with individual candidates. The National Republican Senatorial and Congressional Committees, and then Senator J.D. Vance and then Rep. Steve Chabot, filed suit over the limits in 2022, saying they conflict with the free speech rights
Mrs.
guaranteed
Murray.
by the First Amendment. Political
Aye.
parties on their own may not give more than $5,000 to a candidate per election cycle, though the national party committees and their corresponding Senate committees may jointly contribute up to $57,800 to a Senate candidate's run for office. The limits were upheld by an appeals court. Vance, who is now the vice president, and Chabot, who lost his seat in the 2022 midterm elections, are no longer part of the case. The GOP committees wrote in their petition to the High Court that the limits have harmed our political system by leading donors to send their funds elsewhere, fueling the rise of super PACs and a decline in the power of political parties, and contributing to a spike in political polarization and fragmentation across the board. What? Solicitor
Mr.
General
Rounds.
John
Mr.
Sawyer.
Rounds.
Oh, God. You know, he actually is the fucking asshole that was one of
Mr.
Trump's
Ricketts.
lawyers.
Mr. Ricketts.
Just saying. Wrote in a filing
No.
wrote in a filing in the case that the Trump administration will not defend the restrictions on party spending. The case is one of 7 that the justices added on Monday to their calendar for the term that begins in October. The court also agreed to take up a major copyright dispute between Cox Communications and a group of music labels seeking to
Mr.
hold the
Hawley.
internet service provider
Mr.
accountable
Hawley.
for alleged
No.
illegal downloading of music by Cox customers. Okay. Well, there you go. We're getting a little sneaky peek into what's going to happen come October. Peter Thiel. Oh, I like that. I like Robert Reich. Let's do it.
Mr. Kelly. Aye.
Okay. This is a Guardian piece. Thank you, Gal. It's an opinion piece from Robert Reich. We all love Robert Reich, I think. I do. Peter Thiel's Palantir poses a grave threat to Americans. See, these are my favorite kinds of headlines. This is my favorite kind of headlines. Like, all this. Like, okay. Yeah, and? Why is Peter Thiel after specifically Robert Reich? Oh, is he? Working with the Trump administration, the data company could be used to target
Mr.
the
Young.
president's opponents. No shit.
No.
Really? Draw a circle around all the
Mr.
assets in the
Schumer.
U.S. now devoted to artificial
Aye.
intelligence. Draw a second circle around all the assets devoted to the U.S. military. A third around all the assets being devoted to helping the Trump regime collect and compile personal information on millions of Americans. And a fourth circle around the parts of Silicon Valley dedicated to turning the U.S. away from a democracy into a dictatorship led by tech bros. Where do the 4 circles intersect? At a corporation called Palantir Technologies and a man named Peter fucking Thiel. In J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings, a Palantir is a seeing stone that can be used to distort truth and present selective
Mr.
visions of
McCormick.
reality.
Mr. McCormick.
During the War of the Ring,
No.
a Palantir falls under the control of Sauron, who uses it to manipulate and deceive. Palantir Technologies bears a striking similarity. It sells an AI-based platform that allows its users, among them military and law enforcement agencies, to analyze personal data, including social media profiles, personal information, and physical characteristics, These are used to identify and surveil individuals. I feel like I'm probably on that somewhere. Wait, oh, yeah, that's true. He's
Mr. Hoven.
yeah, Peter Thiel is a Nazi. I'm just so
No.
you know. Yeah. Just so you know. Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's true. In March, Trump signed an executive order requiring all agencies and departments of the federal government to share data on Americans. To get the job done, Trump chose Palantir Technologies. Did he? Did he choose it? Really? Who really chose it? This is what we need. We need more. We need to know the names. We need to know the names. No more, it's just Dump's fault. Paint him as the ineffective, corrupt, compromised figurehead that he is. Please. That would actually make him even madder, okay? That would make him even more angry if we sidelined him as the event. Right. Traitor trivia. Okay. Data gleaned from the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Defense. Palantir is now poised to combine data gleaned from the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Defense, the Department of Health and Human Services, the Social Security Administration, and the Internal Revenue Service. Meanwhile, the administration wants to access to citizens and others' bank account numbers and medical claims. Will the Trump regime use an emerging super database to advance Trump's political agenda, find and detain immigrants, and punish critics? Will it make it easier for Trump to spy on and target his ever-growing list of enemies and other Americans? We'll soon find out. 13 former Palantir employees signed a letter this month urging the corporation to stop its work with Trump. A scouring of the Shire. I mean, that's kind of funny, but it's not really funny. Oops, now I lost where I was. Dang it. Where? Nope. That's not it. Oh, it actually took me away. Okay, well, let me just... All right, last week... wait. Wait, what? God, why does it move me so much? You guys are such dicks. All right, 13 former Palantir employees signed a letter this month urging the corporation to stop its work with Trump. Okay. Linda Shea.
Mr. Warnock.
Forgive me
Mr.
for not
Warnock.
knowing how to pronounce that.
Aye. Mr.
Okay.
McConnell. Mr.
Shaw,
McConnell.
who was a Palantir engineer
No.
until last year, said the problem was not with the company's technology, but with how the Trump administration intended to use it. Combining all that data, even with the noblest of intentions, significantly increases the risk of misuse, she told the New York Times. Oh, okay. Even some Republicans are concerned. Representative Warren Davidson, a Republican of Ohio, told Semaphore such work could be dangerous. When you start combining all those data points on an individual into one database, it really essentially creates a digital ID, and it's a power that history says will eventually be abused. Last week, a group of Democratic lawmakers sent a letter to Palantir asking for answers about huge government contracts that the company got. The lawmakers are worried that Palantir is helping make a super database of Americans' private information. Well, don't always look over there. Also look at, well, of course, I guess Musk now just has all the data, and that's the one that's being used with Palantir. I guess it's all together. Behind their worry lie several people who are behind Palantir's selection for the project, starting with Elon Musk. Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, was behind Palantir's selection. Oh, PayPal Mafia. Okay. At least 3 DOGE members had worked at Palantir, the Times reported, while others had worked at companies founded by
Ms.
Peter Thiel,
Collins.
an investor and founder of Palantir who still holds a major stake in it.
Aye.
Thiel has worked closely with Musk, who devoted $250 million to getting Trump reelected, and then, as head of DOGE, helped eviscerate swaths of the government without congressional authority. Thiel also mentored J.D. Vance, who worked for Thiel at one of his venture funds. Thiel subsequently bankrolled Vance's 2022 senatorial campaign. Thiel introduced Vance to Trump and later helped Vance become his vice presidential pick. Oh, is he helped do that? Okay. Thiel also mentored the billionaire David Sachs. Oh my gosh, who also worked with Thiel at PayPal. As a student at Stanford, Sachs wrote for the Stanford Review, the right-wing
Mr.
student
Sullivan.
newspaper Thiel founded
Mr.
as an
Sullivan.
undergraduate there in 1987. Sachs is now
No.
Trump's AI and crypto czar. That's right. The CEO of Palantir is
Risch.
Alex Karp, who said on an earnings
No.
call earlier this year that the company wants to disrupt and make the institutions we partner with the very best in the world, and when it's necessary, to scare enemies and on occasion, kill them. Oh, wow. Palantir recently disclosed that Karp received a Wait, what now? Palantir recently disclosed that Karp received $6.8 billion in compensation actually paid in 2024, making him the highest paid chief executive of a publicly traded company in the United States. What?
Mr. Curtis,
I hope
No.
we are serious about this revolution. A former generation of wealthy U.S. conservative-backed candidates like Barry Goldwater, conservatives-backed candidates like Barry Goldwater because they wanted to conserve American institutions. But this group, Thiel, Musk, Sachs, Karp, and Vance, among others, doesn't seem to want to conserve much of anything, at least not anything that occurred after the 1920s, including Social Security, civil rights, and even a women's right to vote. As Thiel has written, quote, "The 1920s were the last decade in American history during which one could be genuinely optimistic about politics. Since 1920, the vast increase in welfare beneficiaries and the extension of the franchise to women, two constituencies that are notoriously tough for libertarians, have rendered the notion of capitalist democracy into an oxymoron." Hello? If capitalist democracy is becoming an oxymoron, it's not because of public assistance or because women got the right to vote. It's because billionaire capitalists like Musk and Thiel are intent on killing democracy. Not incidentally, the 1920s marked the last gasp of the Gilded Age, when America's robber barons ripped off so much of the nation's wealth that the rest of the U.S. had to go deep into debt to both maintain their standard of living and to maintain overall demand for the goods and services the nation produced. When that debt bubble burst in 1929, we got the Great Depression. Benito Mussolini and Adolf Hitler then emerged to create the worst threats to freedom and democracy the modern world had ever witnessed. If the U.S. learned anything from the first Gilded Age and the fascism that grew like a cancer in the 1930s, it should have been that gross inequalities of income and wealth and fuel abuses of political power, as Trump, Musk, Thiel, and Karp, and other oligarchs have put on full display, which in turn generate strongmen who destroy both democracy and freedom. The danger inherent in Palantir's AI-powered super database on all Americans is connected with the vast wealth and power of those associated with the corporation and their apparent disdain for democratic institutions. Had you walked to the end of Trump's military birthday parade and gazed above the president's reviewing stand, you'd have seen on a giant video board an advertisement for Palantir, one of the chief sponsors of the event. Tolkien's Palantir fell under the control of Sauron. Thiel's Palantir is falling under the control of Trump. How this story ends is up to all of us. Is it? Is it, Mr. Reich? I hope you're right. Yeah, that's just shy of the ICE budget. Well, there you go. He should probably hand over the money. Yeah. Was Peter Thiel going after Reich? Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, yeah. I don't know, guys. I don't know.
On this vote, the yeas are 49, the nays are 51. The motion is not agreed to.
Mr. President.
I recognize the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that it be in order for the following senators to be recognized to offer amendments, motions, or points of order, that the amendments be reported by number with no amendments in order prior to a vote in relation to the amendments or motions. Wyden. Motion to commit. Coons. Motion to commit.
Without objection. I recognize the Senator from Minnesota.
Mr. President, I make a point of order that the pending measure contains an unfunded intergovernmental mandate, and thus it violates Section 425A2 of the Congressional Budget Act of 1974. In nutrition assistance alone, this bill shifts tens of billions of dollars onto the states, creating chaos for state budgets and hardship for families.
That's actually true.
CBO score for this bill says this: The non-tax provisions of the substitute amendment would impose intergovernmental and private sector mandates as defined in the Unfunded Mandates Reform Act, and that the SNAP cost shift provisions would impose the largest intergovernmental mandates. Seriously, the largest shift in this whole bill, the largest unfunded mandate is on the backs of kids and veterans and seniors and people with disabilities. $64 billion over to the states. 44 of them have balanced budget amendments. You know they can't pay for this. It's hurting local grocery stores.
This is real.
It's hurting
This
our
is going to be
farmers,
real.
and it's all done to pay for tax cuts to the wealthy. I say to our colleagues, vote for families over billionaires, vote for fiscal sanity over this big, beautiful
senator's time has
betrayal,
expired.
and vote yes, this is an unfunded mandate.
I recognize the senator from Arkansas.
I rise to waive the point of order raised by my colleague from Minnesota. I urge my colleagues to vote to waive the point of order. In 2023, the SNAP payment error exceeded 11%, amounting to more than $10 billion in misspent taxpayer dollars. This underscores the need for stronger state accountability in administering this program.
Which state are you
this
from?
Title incentivizes
He's from
states
Arkansas?
to be a better steward of taxpayer dollars, to use resources that are prioritized for those most in need. If a state's payment area is below 6%, that state is exempt from any share of the cost of SNAP benefits. This is a reasonable approach that will help preserve the integrity and long-term sustainability of the program. There is ample time for the states to adjust, plan, and budget for this to take effect
There
in
is
2028.
not. You are such a
States can
liar.
also work to lower their payment error
You're
rate
such a
over
liar.
the next couple of years so that they would be exempt from the match altogether. I move to waive the point of order for the consideration of the pending legislation and ask for the yeas and nays.
Is there a sufficient second? There appears to be. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Alsor-Brooks, Ms. Baldwin. Johnson. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Okay, let me tell you what happens in Arkansas with SNAP benefits. Right now, I'm just going to say, let's see. In 2024, SNAP participants in Arkansas received $552 million in benefits from the federal government. And it shares the administrative costs equally with states, it says.
Mr. Banks, Mr. Barrasso.
And this one will be, according to Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families, a 5% cost share for SNAP food benefits in Arkansas for fiscal year 2026 could result in a bill of around $27 million. A 10% cost share could cost the state around $55 million, and a 25% cost share could cost approximately $137 million. So that's new money. What I just mentioned there, those millions of dollars, that's new money that the states would have to come up with in order to continue serving the residents in their state with SNAP. Okay, so where do you think the state is going to find that money? Where do you think? Does Arkansas have extra money? Let's see if Arkansas has a balanced budget. Hold on. Arkansas, I don't know what the right term is, but we'll figure it out.
Mrs. Blackburn, Mr. Blumenthal.
Oh, here we
Ms.
go.
Blunt Rochester, Mr. Booker, Mr.
Oh, well,
Bozeman.
there you go. So apparently, Huckabee proposed a $6.8 billion budget for fiscal year 2026,
Mr. Budd,
which
Ms.
begins July
Cantwell.
1st, 2025,
Mrs.
with a surplus of almost $300 million. I wonder if it actually...
Mr. Cassidy, Ms. Collins, Mr. Coons, Mr. Cornyn,
The budget proposal...
Ms. Cortez Masto.
But the problem is I want to find out how much money she's considering coming in from the federal government, because this is going to change that. Oh, okay, here we go. More of Arkansas's revenue came from federal transfers than the average state in fiscal year 2022. So this is going back a few years.
Mr. Cornyn, Ms.
In fiscal year
Cortez Masto,
2022,
Mr. Cotton, Mr. Kramer,
36.8% of Arkansas government
Mr.
revenues
Crapo,
came
Mr.
from federal
Cruz,
transfers. About 10
Curtis, Mr.
percentage
Daines,
points
Ms.
higher than the
Duckworth,
rest of the states, than the average
Mr.
across states.
Durbin, Ms. Ernst, Mr.
So
Fetterman.
I don't know if, let me see, does this have anything? I'm wondering if they factored into the fiscal year 26 budget a
Ms.
reduction
Ernst, Mr.
in
Fetterman,
federal
Mrs.
revenue.
Fisher,
Do you think they have? I don't know.
Mr. Gallego,
Let me see.
Mrs. Gillibrand,
What does it
Mr.
say?
Graham, Mr. Grassley, Mr. Haggerty, Ms. Hassan, Mr. Hawley, Mr. Heinrich, Mr. Hickenlooper, Ms. Hirono, Mr. Hoven, Mr. Husted,
I want to
Mrs.
know where her
Hyde-Smith,
revenue. Where does Arkansas?
Mr. Johnson, Mr. Justice, Mr. Kane, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Kennedy,
No.
Mr. Kim,
Full
Mr.
year.
King, Ms. Klobuchar,
Budget revenue. That might. Ooh, you did? That sounds really good.
Mr. Langford, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lujan, Ms. Lummis, Mr. Markey,
much?
Mr. Marshall, Mr. McConnell, Mr. McCormick, Mr. Merkley, Mr. Moody, Mrs. Moody, Mr. Moran, Mr. Moreno,
No, I know that. What portion?
Mr. Mullen, Ms.
Oh, I know.
Murkowski,
Okay,
Mr.
what
Murphy,
portion?
Mrs. Murray, Mr. Ossoff, Mr. Badia, Mr. Paul, Mr. Peters, Mr. Reed, Mr. Ricketts, Mr. Risch, Ms. Rosen, Mr. Rounds, Mr. Sanders, Mr. Schatz, Mr. Schiff, Mr. Schmidt, Mr. Schumer, Mr. Scott of Florida, Mr. Scott of South Carolina, Mrs. Shaheen, Mr. Sheehy, Ms. Slotkin, Ms. Smith, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Thune, Mr. Tillis, Mr. Tuberville, Mr. Van Hollen,
Well, anyway, apparently it's about 30% of the budget of Arkansas. It comes from federal sources. So if that is limited, and then that cost share is increased, which is a mandated amount, right? That's not just like optional. Where do you think they're going to cut in order to make up that shortfall in the Medicaid program? Or will they just cut people off of Medicaid to lower their expenditure? Don't you think that's probably more likely? Because now they'll have these work requirements, and if you don't fill out your paperwork or you fill it out wrong, you'll be kicked off. So chuds, get ready to fill out your reporting. You know, if you so imbibe in any kind of federal benefit, you better make sure your reporting is all up to date. The Maha SNAP bill. Yeah, is that the one where, yeah, and fill it out every 6 months and don't miss a deadline. Yep, they're coming for you. They're coming. You may not think
Mr.
you can
Murphy,
work,
Mrs.
but the
Murray,
government
Mr.
might
Ossoff, Mr.
actually
Padilla,
think you
Mr.
can.
Paul, Mr. Peters, Mr. Reed, Mr. Ricketts, Mr. Risch, Ms. Rosen.
So that's probably
Mr.
how they're going to
Rounds,
make
Mr.
up the
Sanders,
shortfall.
Mr. Schatz, Mr. Schiff, Mr. Schmidt, Mr. Schumer, Mr. Scott of Florida, Mr. Scott of South Carolina.
Yeah, and these you know,
Mr.
it's so
Sheehy, Mr.
antithetical
Sheehy, Ms.
to
Slotkin,
freedom
Ms. Smith, Mr.
to
Sullivan,
tell people
Mr.
what to
Thune,
eat.
Mr. Tillis, Mr.
Like,
Tuberville,
here's some
Mr.
money
Van
to buy
Hollen,
food,
Mr.
but you can
Warner,
only
Mr.
buy the food that
Warnock,
we want you to
Ms.
buy.
Warren, Mr.
But
Welch,
you can't
Mr.
tell us what to
Whitehouse,
do.
Mr. Wicker, Mr.
But
Wyden,
we apparently
Mr.
are
Young.
above you, and so we get to tell you what to do. That's bullshit. Yeah, and there may be computer glitches that get you. There's a million different things that can happen, and none of them are good. Even just the problem of like trying to share, or trying to get the information to them or sign up for benefits. All of that is going to be pressed. I don't know why. I have a buzzing. Do you guys hear a buzzing? Why is my stuff so weird? Do you hear a buzzing? I hear a buzzing. Shit. I don't know. Oh!
Senators voting in the affirmative. Banks, Blackburn, Bozeman, Britt, Budd, Capito, Cassidy, Cornyn,
Why that's falling
Cotton,
out?
Kramer,
And why is it
Crapo,
making that
Cruz,
noise?
Curtis, Daines, Ernst, Fisher, Graham, Grassley, Hoven, Husted, Johnson, Justice, Langford, Lee,
Okay, maybe you guys can't
Lummis,
hear it.
Marshall, McConnell, McCormick, Moody, Moran, Moreno,
Hi, Lee.
Mullen, Paul,
Yeah.
Ricketts,
Or not even being
Brown,
able to
Schmidt,
understand the
Scott of
instructions,
Florida,
right?
Sheehy,
Like,
Sullivan,
Jesus.
Thune, Tillis,
That shit's hard.
Tuberville, and Young. Senators voting in the negative.
So terrible.
Also Brooks, Baldwin, Bennett, Blumenthal,
I've been getting paperwork to fill out that's showing up 2 weeks after it was sent out. Yes. Thank you.
Hassan,
Thank you.
Heinrich,
Thank you,
Hickenlooper,
Meowing Star. That too.
Hirono, Kane, Kelly, Kim, King,
Who cares?
Klobuchar,
Who
Lujan,
cares,
Markey,
Max?
Merkley,
Who
Murkowski,
cares?
Murphy, Murray, Ossoff, Padilla.
I mean, I
Peters,
don't understand
Reed,
how
Rosen,
anyone has the right to
Sanders,
tell anyone
Schatz,
this is how you have to spend your
Schumer,
money.
Shaheen, Slotkin,
I don't know. That feels
Smith,
very antithetical
Warner,
to
Warnock,
any kind of
Warren,
freedom.
Welch, White House,
But
and
no,
Wyden.
I mean, I don't know. No.
Mr. Wicker, aye.
Then the other thing is that we need to make Whole Foods more accessible to people.
Mrs. Hyde Smith,
And
Mrs.
end,
Hyde Smith,
end food
aye.
deserts.
Ms. Collins, aye.
I don't know. I feel like telling adults what to do is just more than I can take.
Mr. Risch,
They destroyed all the brand new sorting machines. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, we forgot about the Postal Service. Meowing Star, they destroy. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what Tom said. They did destroy all it. I don't know why this thing is making. I certainly hope it's not coming through on your end. It's like a big robot noise and I can't understand it. That's okay. We did our reading for today, so I can go ahead and I can shut up, actually. Oh, you're not hearing buzzing? Thank goodness, because it's just, I don't want it to be annoying. Thank you. Thanks, Meowing Star. I can put up with it. So, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why are you pointing? Why are you pointing at him?
Ms. Duckworth, no. Mr. Schiff, no.
Oh, I see. She's trying to get attention. I get it. This is terrible. When it was hitting things to turn it off. Karen. It only happens when you use that mic. Yeah, I know. It only happens when I bang the mic around. Oh, well. Wow. Okay. Well, this is going to go on all day. And no, it's not the actual vote. Carrie, they're going to be going through amendment after amendment, I think, for quite a time. Yeah. Ossoff was closed captioned as Mr. Awesome. I didn't even... I think I'm taking an early lunch and start fresh in the afternoon. Hell yeah. Do it. It actually is more like... What time is it over there? It's almost lunchtime, really. You're not really taking it early.
Ms. Cantwell, no. Mr. Van Hollen, no.
Van Holland, no. Oh no. Tina joined Truth Social. What? Oh my God. Tina, you stay away from all those bots and things. I remember that, Tom, just compounding the whole 75-year upfront retirement funding they did under, I think, Bush, maybe Obama. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to tell you, it's just, it's amazing to me. This is why I think it's so important that I wish
Hawley, aye.
I wish people would really pay attention to what their representatives say, and I wish we could just get to the point where we were just like able to talk about, like, does this work for everybody or does it not work, without any kind of like, you're a libtard or whatever it is they call us. And that's that's the other thing I heard this weekend. I actually don't subscribe to a lot of channels anymore. Your algorithm throws things in your face once in a while. And I heard one of the people who, I don't think he really likes me, and he always wants to debate me, and because he doesn't like Democrats or something like that. And the reason I don't debate just like everybody is that I don't know what we're debating, because I'm standing up for what is right for people, whether it's, I'm not standing up for like parties or organizations per se. I mean, I'll certainly speak in favor of certain organizations and their work, but I really am more about just like, what is the right thing for us to do for each other? So I know it keeps coming up, and I'm like, I'm not really like I'm not like such a, it's not that I don't want to debate. I just don't know what the question is. And I don't know. It just keeps coming up in my feed, and I'm like, why? Maybe I just need to say it. Let me just say it. I mean, if you want to talk about things, that's fine, but I don't, or share information, like factual information, but I'm not, there's nothing to debate. There's just nothing to debate.
Mr. Fetterman,
I don't care about Chuck Schumer. I don't care. I have all kinds of complaints about the Democrats. I think they're weird, and they act like we all need to be a monolith, and we don't need to be a monolith. Like, I have plenty of people that I don't necessarily agree with about how we get there, but I know where I want to go. But yeah, everything is incremental. Like, otherwise things would be a lot easier, but they're not. And that's because there's too many humans involved. But to throw the baby out with the bathwater just seems stupid to me, and that's not an approach that I have any respect for. And I don't know. I just don't see that. I've been listening to a lot of weird interactions this weekend online, and like, man, there's some people out there now. Granted, I got really hurt by some people online, right? Like, or their actions caused me pain, and I reacted with pain. But even I, who I feel like is an emotional being, I'm an overly emotional being. Even I have kind of moved beyond some of the feelings that they make rise in me, right? Like, but this weekend, one thing came up, and it was not important in terms of what it was, but it was like, there's camps, there's these two camps, and they used to be friends, but now they're not friends, and they're all fighting this big thing, but they're not spending any time fighting the big thing. They're just fighting each other. And they go on each other's shows, and they, talk about, like, they go on each other's shows and they say, well, your chat did this and your chat did that. Well, your chat did, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys, is this what you are? Is this, yeah, they're not actually, but is this what you're focused? You're focused more on the fight between your online communities than you are even on the thing that you're going after, which frankly I could make an argument isn't actually the most urgent thing in front of us, but again, who am I to judge? But you're literally focused so much on this weird kind of
Mr. Booker,
like
no.
who has more ethics, which by the way, neither of you do. Okay, fun fact. You're both sets of assholes. But this one person that I heard talk about it, and it was from a few days ago, so it's not even really recent. He was just like, well, but your chat immediately picked up on that. And I'm like, oh my God, really? Are you a full grown fucking adult? You're literally a full grown fucking adult? And you're worried about what a chat online is doing about some personality thing? Conflict, which you used to be best friends with that person, and now I guess that person is, in the shitter. And these chats, let me tell you, these chats scare the fuck out of me. I don't know who the hags are that are out there, but man, they go back and forth. They go after each other. It's just, Tom, thankfully, I'm not involved.
Mr. Barrasso.
I'm not
Mr.
involved.
Barrasso,
But it came up on my feed and I was watching it and I'm
Mr.
like,
Haggerty,
wow, like what a luxury to be so fucking far up your own ass that you're worried about who said something about so, and I don't even know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no more Canadian drunks. But anyway, it just like this online kind of, either purity tests or boo. I think it makes everybody look like an idiot when this is happening or anything else is happening. Right? Like, I don't know. Bob and yeah. So I don't know. I just that came up this weekend and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Oh my God. Get the fuck over yourself. Get down off the cross. Somebody needs the wood. My Lord. I think you're absolutely right, Max. I think this all is a byproduct of a loneliness epidemic and the fact that nobody really, everybody lost something in 2020, right? We all lost something. And some people found it in these online communities where their entire being is, who they're simping for or whatever. And so I certainly am guilty of doing that and getting really into who likes who and all that kind of stuff. I made some terrible judgments of how to, use my time and my energy and my admiration and all that kind of stuff. It was very painful. But I feel like even in my broken state, I've kind of moved to a different, when I see it, it kind of is like it's funny to me, actually. I'm like, oh my God, you guys really are so fucking still focused on this shit. That just cracks me up. Anyway, I don't know. I know you guys, some of you know what I'm talking about, some of you don't, and I apologize for those who don't, but trust me, you don't want to. It's just the foibles of online. Oh my God, I almost have gotten in, is it Ezra Klein and Hasanabi? Oh, Ethan Klein. No, I actually just saw a little bit about that Meowing Star yesterday. And yeah, I just saw a little bit about that. But I don't have the full skinny on it. I trend not to watch Hasanabi. I don't hate him, obviously. I don't hate him, but partly he really annoys me, but that's just my own thing. And whatever. I don't know about Ethan Klein. I don't really know what that story, what their story is. I did the NYT AI quiz and I only got 40%. What's AI? Is that what? What does that mean? What's the AI quiz? What does that mean? And is 40% good or bad or? Oh yeah, in terms of, you're saying the chats? Oh, Meowing Star. No, the Twitch chats, the Hasanabi, all those, they're the same to me. This kind of real focus on our personalities and shit like that. Oh, to guess which clips were AI. Oh, wow. Yeah, the answers are probably hallucinated. Maybe you got more and you just didn't know it. Now I want to take it. Should we take it? Hold on. See if I can find it. Oh, show it to me.
On this vote, the yeas are 51.
Bitches.
The nays are 48. The motion is agreed to.
President,
I recognize the senator from Oregon.
Mr. President, I have a motion to commit at the desk.
The clerk will report.
Senator from Oregon, Mr. Wyden, moves to commit the bill H.R. 1 to the Committee on Finance with instructions to report back forthwith.
Mr. President, I ask that further reading of the motion be dispensed with.
Without objection.
Mr. President, this is a motion supported by all finance Democrats to send the bill back to the Finance Committee to strike all the Medicaid cuts and ensure that big corporations and the ultra-wealthy pay their fair share in taxes. It is now clear that there is bipartisan opposition in the Senate to the Medicaid cuts in this bill. That's because it's the biggest Medicaid cut in history and represents the largest transfer of wealth
That's right.
in
Sam
history.
Sater. Yes, we're going to take the quiz.
It is caviar
Hell
over
yeah.
kids, hedge funds over health care, Mar-a-Lago over the middle class. These Medicaid cuts are going to reach down into every corner of our nation's health care system. As we've heard from rural America, rural hospitals will close their doors. Seniors are going to lose care at home and be left with
You can't get the video clips on the archive version. God damn it.
Kids with disabilities will lose health care. We saw them on the steps of the Capitol last night. Never have I seen legislation
Senator's time's expired.
focused on denying health care to eligible Americans. This
Senator's time
amendment
has
is
expired.
an opportunity to take these awful Medicaid cuts off the table and find another way forward. I yield back.
Mr. President.
I recognize the senator from Kansas.
Mr. President, good morning. It's great to be here. I just want to share with America the great work that Republicans have done on Medicaid, that we're preserving it, we're protecting it, we're strengthening it for those who need it the most. We're going to make sure that your seniors in nursing homes,
thank you so much, Max. I can't seem to get around it.
Have Medicaid in the future. We are fiscally making Medicaid more sound. You know, it's only in Washington, D.C. that you increase spending at a rate faster than inflation, and you call it a cut. So we're increasing spending on this legislation. We're increasing
This is
funding
such a
for Medicaid.
fucking lie.
We are preserving and protecting it for those
you
who
are
need
such
it
a
the most.
liar.
I urge everyone to vote no on this amendment. Thank you. Are you?
The question's on the motion. Is there a sufficient second? There appears to be. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Alsa-Rooks, Ms. Baldwin.
All right, let's go to this article. Thank you to Max for letting us have this gift article. So kind. All right, here we go, you guys. This is from a few days ago, so we're not really spoiling anything, okay? All right, here we go. All right, here we go. All right, so is this conference presentation real or AI?
Sleep, our brains are actually incredibly active, sorting and consolidating memories and information. So while we sleep, our brains are actually incredibly active, sorting and consolidating
What do you
memories
guys
and
think?
information.
AI or not AI?
So while we sleep, our
AI or not AI?
Mr. Barrasso. Mr. Bennett.
Lee says AI. Tom says not. Oh, you got the gift link off Blue Sky. Thank you. Thanks, Max. That helps. I didn't think you subscribed to the New York Times.
Mrs. Blackburn. Mr.
It
Blumenthal.
looks real.
Ms.
So Carrie says not AI.
Mr. Booker.
Karen says AI. Oh, we've got
Mr.
50-50. Oh, a little more AI now. Teresa says AI. All right, let's find out. I'm going to say, because 3 of you said AI, 2 of you said not AI.
Mr. Cornyn.
You're right. This was made with AI tools. Oh my God, it was based in the style of a TED Talk. Oh, 53% of readers got this right. You guys are so smart. Wow. Is this model real? Kind of hard to see. I guess you don't need the sound. Is she real? We don't need the sound. Is she AI or not AI? What did the teeth look like? There you go. Tom says AI. Teresa says AI-ish. Meowing says not AI. Lee says AI. Carrie says not AI. Karen says AI. Meaning they don't disappear or disappear randomly. Yeah. Don't appear or disappear randomly. Yeah.
Mr. Kramer,
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, you look for body parts that... Okay, I'm going to say it's AI because you guys said it was. It's not AI. It's just a camera angle, babes. Leg, that is all. That's right. Nice leg. No, that's real. That's a real leg. It's just an interesting camera angle, okay? It's called a camera angle. This one was not made with AI tools. It was posted to Instagram by Gökhan Ergin, a photographer based in Istanbul. Oh, okay, so don't feel bad. You're still above average. Or no, you're still average. Is this a real news broadcast?
With a significant jolt to the global financial markets.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Todd Owens.
I'm Melissa Moore. We begin tonight with a significant jolt to the global financial markets.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Todd.
Ms. Duckworth,
Okay, is
Mr.
that
Durbin,
AI?
Ms. Ernst, Mr. Fetterman,
All right,
Ms.
all
Fisher,
right, all right.
Mr. Gallego,
Are any news broadcasts real?
Mrs. Gillibrand, Mr. Graham,
Ooh,
Mr. Grassley.
I don't know. Are they? Feels AI, but I can't say why. Oh, yeah, good point. Model shot. AI. Wow, you guys think this is AI. I don't know. All of their body parts stay kind of... I guess her hair looks a little odd. If you look at her hair in the...
Mr. Haggerty,
Well, maybe not. The back of the hair.
Ms. Hassan,
AI.
Mr. Hawley,
AI.
Mr. Heinrich,
Okay,
Mr.
let's see.
Hickenlooper,
Is it? I'm guessing AI
Mr.
because you
Rono,
guys said so.
Mr.
Yes!
Hovind, Mr. Husted,
Wow, that's
Mrs.
really good
Hyde-Smith,
AI.
Mr. Johnson, Mr. Justice, Mr. Kane,
That's really good AI.
Mr. Kelly, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Kim, Mr. King.
Oh. Is this social media personality real?
Hey, on foot. It's absolutely mad. We're actually doing it. Walking across the entire UK. On foot. It's absolutely mad. We're actually doing it.
Mr. Langford, Mr.
Walking
Lee,
across
Mr.
the entire
Lujan,
UK.
AI.
Ms. Lummis,
On foot.
Mr. Martin,
Oh, there was no
absolutely mad.
station
We're
logo.
actually
Oh,
doing
that's
McConnell,
smart.
Mr. McCormick,
Walking
Mr.
across the
Merkley,
entire UK.
So is this
Mrs.
social
Lee,
media
Mr.
personality
Murray,
real?
Mr. Marino, Mr.
It's absolutely
Mullen,
mad. We're actually
Ms.
doing it.
Murkowski, Mr. Murphy, Mrs. Murray, Mr.
Not
Rosso,
AI, Tom says.
Mr. Padilla, Mr. Paul,
Starting to
Mr.
question
Peters,
yourself, aren't you?
Mr. Reed, Mr. Ricketts,
Carrie says AI.
Mr. Risch, Ms. Rosen, Mr. Rounds,
AI. Haggard. Not AI, Karen says. I'm trying to look and see if I can see any clues. I'm going to say not AI. All right, I'm going to say not AI. I'm going to break with the crowd. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, it was made with AI tools. What does that mean? But what does that mean? What? Oh my God. Oh my God. And this nighttime video?
Work on my body. Is it lethal? I really don't know. I have no idea how it would work on my body. Is it lethal? I really don't know. I have no idea how it would work on my body. Is it lethal? I really don't know. I have
Mr. Schiff, Mr.
Is that
Schmidt,
AI or not?
Mr. Schumer, Mr. Scott of Florida.
Is this AI, this nighttime video? Oh my God. I think it's not AI. I think it's not. I think it's real. I agree with you, Carrie. I think it's real. I'm just trying to think of anything in there that looks like it could be AI, but oh, we are so fucked. Can I just tell you?
Mr.
Yep,
Scott of
Tom
Florida,
says not
Mr. Scott
AI.
of South Carolina, Mrs. Shaheen, Mr. Sheehy, Ms.
AI
Slotkin,
looks like
Ms.
Castro.
Smith, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Thune, Mr. Tillis, Mr. Tuberville, Mr. Van Hollen, Mr. Warner, Mr. Warnock, Ms.
Not
Warren,
even the
Mr.
quiz
Welch,
is
Mr.
real.
Whitehouse, Mr. Wicker, Mr. Wyden, Mr. Young.
Okay, the cricket sounds seem AI, Karen says. Meowing Star says the shadows look too good, so not AI. Teresa says not AI. Okay, I'm going with not AI. Hell yeah. Oh my God, thank you for being real. You know what I want to say though too is that I think that that as AI rises, I think the value of human created art, human created things are going to be much more valuable. And valuable, I mean, not in money terms, but in preciousness and kind of appreciation. I guess that's what I hope is going to happen. Maybe not. I just feel like, you know, you do this stuff and then hopefully the robots don't actually take over. Okay, here, how about this interview? Is this AI or is this
Murray, Padilla,
real?
Rosen, Sanders,
we tried really hard
Schiff,
on defense and
Schumer,
were able to
Shaheen,
get a few clutch
Slotkin,
stops.
Van Hollen, Warner, Warren, Welch, and Wyden.
We tried really hard on
Senators voting in the
defense and
negative.
were able to
I think it's
get
AI.
a few clutch
You think it's
stops.
real? Oh my God. I think it's AI.
Bud, Capito, Cassidy,
we tried really hard on
Collins,
defense and were
Cornyn,
able to
Look at
get
the
a
people in
few
the
clutch
back.
stops.
Crapo, Cruz,
And what's this
Curtis,
writing?
We tried really
Beneficiaries?
hard on
What is
defense
that?
and were able to get
Graham,
a few clutch
Haggerty,
stops.
Like I've never heard of any of these.
Husted,
Or maybe I
Justice,
guess they're playing
Kennedy,
across the
We tried
Langford,
really
in
hard on
Europe.
defense and were able
McCormick,
to get
Moody,
a few clutch
Moran,
stops.
All right, what do we
Mullen,
think?
Murkowski, Hall, Ricketts, Risch, Rounds, Schmidt.
So
Scott of
you guys
Florida,
say
Scott of South Carolina, Sheehy,
not AI,
Thune, Tillis, Tuberville, and Young.
AI, AI. Okay, I'm going to guess AI.
Mr. Blumenthal,
Oh my God.
Mr. Bozeman,
It's AI.
Mr.
I want to see
Bozeman,
what's fake
no.
about it. You're
Mr.
right. This was
Lee,
made with
Mr.
AI.
Lee.
This basketball interview perfectly
Mrs.
imitates a
Hyde-Smith,
real
Mrs.
sports setting with
Hyde-Smith.
fans, coaches, and a
No,
sweaty
Mr.
player giving a
Durbin,
halting
Mr.
description of
Durbin.
his success.
Aye.
Look closer, and some flaws come through. People in
Mr.
the
Marino,
background
Mr.
sometimes
Marino,
fade in and out,
aye.
and the letters on the
Mr.
player's shirt
Merkley.
are garbled.
Mr. Marino,
The
Mr.
technology
Marino,
still
no.
struggles with text,
Mr.
although it's getting
Merkley,
much better.
Mr. Merkley, aye.
Oh, see, I didn't see if it was like, I thought maybe that just was standing for something else. But anyway, okay, well, that's interesting. How about this makeup tutorial?
Ms. Cortez Masto,
all
Ms. Cortez
over the
Masto,
lid.
aye.
It's a really great base. Okay, so first I'm gonna take this shade
Sullivan,
and
Mr.
apply it
Sullivan,
all over the
no.
lid. It's a really great base. Okay, so first I'm gonna take this shade and apply it all over the lid. It's a really great base.
Well, it's edited.
Okay, so first
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
take this
Johnson,
shade
Mr.
and
Johnson,
apply it
no.
all over the lid. It's a really
Mr.
great
Wicker,
base.
Mr. Wicker, no.
Okay, so
I don't know. Okay, so wait a minute. Here we go. Oh, Meowing Star called it. AI crowd was melting sometimes. You're absolutely right. Why are they all milling around in the background? Exactly. I feel like I'm not seeing the pic we're guessing about. This chat is. Oomph says this is AI. Neil says this is AI. Tom says it's not AI. Meowing Star AI. Teresa AI. Carrie says not AI. I'm going to go with AI because everyone guessed that. Oh my God, that's AI. Oh, wait. Watch her fingers. Watch her fingers on her left hand. Yeah, see, her pinky disappears. Wow. You're right. This was made, and concerns have grown that AI fakes.
Ms. Hirono, Ms. Hirono,
To generate this
aye.
clip, we used a much
Mr.
shorter
Whitehouse,
prompt than we used for other
Mr.
videos,
Whitehouse,
telling the
aye.
program only to create a video in which a young woman gives a makeup tutorial. The technology can fill in a lot of gaps.
Mr. Ossoff,
But I did
Mr.
notice the
Ossoff,
fingers
aye.
kind of changed, but I didn't really notice it right away. Is this a real fashion video? Oh my God, I see these kinds of videos all the time.
And if anyone has tips for traveling with hats, please let me know.
And here's the finished look. I feel like you can definitely tell why I chose the 1910s. And if anyone has tips for traveling with hats, please let me know. And here's the finished look. I feel like you can definitely tell why
All
I
right,
chose
look at her
the
hands.
1910s.
Anything?
And if anyone has tips for traveling with hats, please let
This
me
looks
know.
real.
And here's the finished look. I feel like you can definitely tell why I chose the 1910s.
I'm gonna be
And
like
if anyone has
wrong,
tips for
I think.
traveling with hats,
Miss Smith. Miss Smith.
Real? Okay. AI, no makeup.
Mr. Kane. Mr.
Wait,
Kane.
what? Which one?
Aye.
Uh-oh, I forgot where we left out. Her left hand looked odd. Okay, so Oomph says not AI. Tom says AI. Karen says not AI. Neil says her arms look odd to me. AI. Oh, they do kind of look odd. I mean, I think she's just skinny. I'm listening to on one device while it charges and behind answering on another. I think you're AI. I think you're AI. Huh. Okay, I'm going to say not AI. Oh, thank God. Jesus, thank you, lady. Thank you for being real. Is this genuine crypto advice?
Because we've been
Does he
waiting
have
for
a
this
penis
exact
on his
move
back wall?
for years.
What?
Since I pointed this out in November 2023, because we've been waiting for this exact move for years. Since I pointed this out in November 2023,
Why do these guys
because
always sit
we've
in
been
rooms
waiting
like
for
this?
this exact move for years. Since I pointed this out in November 2023, because we've been waiting for this exact move for years. Since I pointed this out in November
God,
2023.
what do you guys think about that? All right, no problem, Neil. You got it. We will listen to you, though, unfortunately.
Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kelly. Aye.
There is no advice presented in the script. Oh, I see. That's true. There isn't any advice. AI, his cheek. Okay, wait a minute. Let me look at his cheek. What happens to his cheek? Is it this one? Like on the other side? Does it kind of go... So no, not real advice. Yeah, where's the advice? Don't look at my penis written on the wall? What the hell is that? What the hell is that? All right, so Tom says AI. Carrie says AI. Teresa says AI. Neil says, I don't care if it's AI or not. I'm not taking advice from a guy who wears his cap that way. Yeah, that one, this one on the other side or whatever. Weird choice to put the camera where it is. I know. Who's he talking to? I don't know. Maybe AI? Not enough for me to go off of. I guess I'm going to guess AI. Oh, it's not AI. No, kids. He's just as real as you and me. He's just a douchebag. No, it may not be genuine crypto advice, but it is a genuine douchebag. A real video game stream or not? I'll tell you.
So the strategy here is to kind of flank them from the left because they never expect that on this map. And then I can just pick them off.
Oh, this is definitely AI.
So the strategy here is to kind of flank them from the left because they never expect that on this map.
Wait, what's going on in the bottom of his screen?
So the strategy here is to kind of flank them from the left because they never expect that on this map.
Oh, I guess it's
then I can just pick them off. So the strategy here is
I don't know. Gosh, I have no idea. Oh, Neil, you don't have to be. That's why we take quizzes. Network state hand. He's not flanking from the left. Oh my God. He's not following his own fake advice. Well, that's kind of the left, but playing Call of Duty? I always lose in that game. Unless camera versed. Well, it could be. Could be. No, but he's going to the left, right? Right? Here he is. He's going to the left. Yeah. But it may not be good advice. That's true. All right, Tom says it's AI, but Karen says it's not AI. I think it is AI. I think it's AI. Right, here we go. It's AI. Oh my god. The video game entirely made by AI alongside an inset box of a young teen narrating his strategy. We didn't write a specific script for this video, instead prompting the character to simply talk about his strategy. The AI did the rest. My god. Oh my god. 7 out of 10. You guys, we're not great. We're not great. We didn't really make it. We are not going to be able to tell the robots. We're not going to have the robots. We're not going to have the robots on our sides. You only got 4 right? Oh my god, Max. You're in real trouble. The robots are definitely going to fool you. That's for sure. They're only going to fool us 3 out of 10 times. They're going to fool you 6 out of 10. Tom says, I didn't even get 4. I absolutely buy everything. Everything is real. Everything is awesome. I'm still convinced, and I know this might sound quaint at this point, but I'm still convinced that it would behoove us to really address the issues of disinformation in our society. We'd be controlled by the robots 3 times in 10. Quiz was more second guessing the editors than judging anything about authentic. Really? Because I was really looking deep on those pictures, like, what is going on?
Mr. Warnock.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. We may not watch this all day long. I'm just happy the stream stayed up. That actually I'm real happy with. I'll share a video I watched yesterday that helped me get 9 of those right. Oh, that's a great idea. Thank you, Meowing Star. I appreciate that. First 2 made me suspect shenanigans. Oh, yeah, definitely. There's definitely shenanigans. But I think it's smarter to question the editors. That's actually a really smart approach to this. Oh, my God. Ugh. All right. Well, I think what I'm going to do is head out for now for today. And unfortunately, we will be left with the... Yes, exactly. We will be left with the Senate to continue watching. I might throw it up in Discord and see if that works.
On this motion,
Interwebs
the
was
yeas
acting
are
weird
47,
nationwide. Oh,
the
really?
nays are
Okay.
53. The
I hope
motion
that's
is
true. I
not
hope it's not
agreed
an
to.
issue with my equipment, but, you know, we'll deal with it. So far, so
I
good.
recognize the senator from Delaware.
Mr. President, I have a motion to commit at the desk.
I'm going to listen to
The
this
clerk will
one, though.
report it.
The senator from Delaware, Mr. Coons, moves to commit the bill H.R. 1 to the Committee on Finance with instructions to report back forthwith.
Mr. President, I ask further reading of the motion be dispensed with.
Without objection.
Colleagues, the ugly truth about this so-called big, beautiful bill is that it will kick 17 million Americans off their health care. This bill cuts almost $1 trillion from Medicaid and other health care programs by tying people up in red tape. Republicans will tell you they're trying to improve Medicaid, but the truth is they're not. It is cruel and dishonest to bury parents, kids, and seniors in paperwork and then blame them when they lose their health care, all to further rig our tax code.
You guys
for
are
the
still on
very
the leg.
wealthiest.
You're
This
still on
week,
the
I
leg.
met with 30 nurses from Delaware. Their patients couldn't come to D.C., so they did. They care for seniors and newborns, families, and the disabled. And their ask to us, don't take health care away from tens of thousands of Delawareans and millions of Americans. Colleagues, support this Coons amendment to eliminate cruel and unnecessary red tape and allow Americans to keep the health care they need and deserve.
Oh, that's interesting, Karen.
Mr.
Okay,
President.
all right.
I recognize
It was
the
also
senator
in a
from
camera
Kansas.
angle. Okay,
As
so
I
calm
look
down.
at this, the senator's motion.
Why don't you go
is
marry the
on
leg?
Work requirements. You know, back home we had a saying for people that had an aversion to work. We called it an allergy to work. But my question is, don't you think a job brings value, that it
What?
brings dignity?
Everybody
Do you not
thinks a
think
job
that
brings what?
purpose
No,
and
it
meaning
doesn't.
to life?
Actually,
we
no.
have 7 million
Nobody
healthy
thinks
American
that.
men across this country.
Nobody thinks that
working
a
age
job
that aren't
brings
working
value
right
to
now.
someone.
So yes, we want to encourage people to go back to
No.
work. But our bill, as you point out, actually
they're not
preserves
out
and
of work
protects
for-
it for
oh my
those
God,
groups.
I hate
Our
these
bill
people
makes it
so
stronger,
much.
financially stronger,
Not
so we
AI.
can protect it and strengthen it for seniors and nursing
Teresa,
homes, for
you
people
win.
with disabilities,
Teresa, you
for
win
pregnant
the
women and
internet.
for children. Let's
You
protect
win.
Medicaid for those who need it the most.
Very
I
much
urge
not
a no
AI
vote
right
on
now.
This, and I'll never apologize
You win.
for encouraging
Well done.
people
Well
to go
played. Good job.
Question
Great
occurs on
job.
motion.
Is the guy in the blue suit human
Is
or
there a
not?
sufficient second?
Oh, this
There
bitch.
appears to be. The clerk will call the roll.
That was phenomenal.
Alsop-Brooks,
Well
Ms.
timed. I mean, just
Baldwin,
it couldn't be
Mr.
more
Banks,
perfect.
Mr. Barrasso, Mr.
Really
Bennett,
phenomenal.
Mrs. Blackbird, Mr.
Mrs.
Blumenthal,
Blackbird, calling in the dead of night. And your broken wing and learn to fly. Ooh. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. I wish it was AI, yeah. Okay, anyone who is able not working is doing so. But yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. And that's, then there's ways to deal with that. Believe me, the states are not letting people slack that much, okay? So just we need to deal. God. But yeah, the answer is put more pressure on the states to manage the program. That's going to help with, keeping everything on checks and balance. Yep, that'll help. That sounds great to me. All right, kids, I'm going to let you go for this morning, but I will hopefully see you. We will be doing a space this afternoon, but it might be my last space on Twitter. I don't know. We have to think about that. I got to talk about what's the best. Is there anyone left on Twitter who is not here or on Blue Sky or something like that? So we've got to figure that out. But we'll do one tonight, I think. They're going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific. Remember, new time for spaces. 6 p.m. Yeah, I can't see. I don't know. Initially spaces
Ms. Collins,
for us
Mr.
at this
Coons,
point
Mr. Cornyn,
was like a way to get to people who weren't
Cortez
on
Masto,
YouTube.
Mr. Cotton, Mr.
Yeah,
Kramer.
no, there's
Mr.
no need to
Crapo.
be. There's no requirement. Yeah, I think most people are on Blue Sky. It's just that we don't have that voice piece, and really Spaces was because a lot of people
Curtis,
didn't make
Mr.
it to
Deans.
YouTube and other things, at least in my estimation. So that's why I decided to go back conversation about it as well, because I love hearing voices that I don't normally hear. Like I don't have the chance to talk to Gal and Jim and Jay Rants, voice to voice all the time. So it's kind of nice to have that. I'm just really pissed that it didn't, fucking Blue Sky. What is your problem? What is your problem? You can't tell me that you don't have some revenue coming in from all these new users or something. I don't know how that generates revenue, but you can't tell me that you're not able to add features. So fucking do it. Damn it. Anyway.
Ms. Cantwell, Mrs. Capito,
So,
Mr. Cassidy,
yeah, but
Ms.
tonight.
Collins, Mr. Cornyn, Ms. Cortez Masto,
6 p.m.
Mr.
Pacific,
Cotton,
9 p.m. Eastern. We'll have a space.
Mr. Kramer, Mr.
And
Crapo,
it'll
Mr.
be
Cruz, Mr. Curtis,
it'll
Mr.
be the
Dean,
usual
Ms.
hilarity.
Duckworth,
I'm sure we'll
Mr.
have stuff to
Durbin.
talk about, whatever's going to happen the rest of the day here.
Ms. Ernst.
And then I'll see you tomorrow morning for Wake and Bake with Lolo at 6:30.
Mr. Fetterman, Mrs. Fisher,
Not early today
Mr.
like we
Gallego,
did, but thank you for
Mrs.
coming. I think I
Gillibrand,
might throw this on in
Mr.
fact, I know I
Graham,
will.
Mr.
I'm going to put
Grassley,
this on
Mr.
in the
Haggerty,
Discord,
Ms.
so if people
Hassan,
want to check
Mr.
in on the
Hawley,
Discord and, hang out with each other or not or whatever,
Mr. Heinrich,
I'll have this
Mr.
playing in the
Hickenlooper,
Discord and it'll be like a drop-in
Ms.
clinic.
Hirono,
You can come in when you need a dose and you can leave when
Mr.
you don't need a
Hoban,
dose.
Mr. Husted,
Okay? All right. So I'll see you on
Mrs.
Discord in a few
Hyde-Smith.
minutes. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate
Mr.
all
Johnson,
of you.
Mr.
Yes,
Justice.
thank you. Will J Rance recite any lyrics tonight? I don't know. That's always, you could stump her. Actually, I encourage that. If you think of a song you want her to try and, I'll set her up for that. I will totally set her up for that. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks again for coming. Sorry about the technical difficulties at the beginning, but it wouldn't be a show if there weren't technical difficulties. So, there you go. All right. I'll see you guys.